I would say I hate to see it, but I'd be lying.
Yeah, no, it's valid.
Dude, it's already 9:15. We should probably just roll right
Let's
into this
let's
thing.
dive in.
All right. Welcome everybody to the Forward Pass podcast. We've got an electric episode coming for you guys. We're gonna go right into it, and we're gonna start with our favorite topic on the pod for most of us, which is the decline of the Penn State Nittany Lions. To set the scene, the Penn State Nittany Lions traveled cross country to play a faltering 0-4 UCLA Bruins team that had lost to UNLV and New Mexico, so two G5 squads. Um, they had not led in a game previously all year. Then the UCLA Bruins and Nico Iamaleava led for 60 minutes of this football game. They led every second of the game, besides obviously the opening drive. And this is where Penn State fans are at. They have wins against Nevada and Villanova and FIU. Um, and they have losses against Oregon and UCLA. They are 0-2 in Big Ten play. This was the year. This was the year the stars aligned. James Franklin talks about it in a lot of his pressers. They had a year three starter at quarterback. They have two backs that have been there for four. This is their fourth year with Katron Allen and Nick Singleton, senior laden roster. Jim Knowles is being paid $3.1 million to call plays for the defense. And Jerry Neuheisel, a 310, he makes 310 grand. He learned that he was calling
Not
plays
too
on two.
shabby.
Yeah, but he makes 10 times
Go
less
for.
than Jim Knowles. And he learned he was calling plays Tuesday, and he diced up the Nittany Lions. We have a lot to talk about in this game, and so I'm not just going to fire off all my takes yet. But let's get into this. What do we think, Sam? Whoa. Oh, Sam.
Oh,
No volume problems. We can't hear you.
sorry, we'll cut this out.
No, we can't hear you. We can read your lips. Uh,
I'll just fire off one of my quick takes real
I
quick
think you should.
while
Let's
we
go.
wait
That'd
for
be
Sam.
perfect. That'd be perfect.
Unfathomable result in this game. Unfathomable. I mean, all the credit in the world to UCLA. I mean, they're 0-4. Their head coach, OC, DC, all got fired. They have every single reason for a team like Penn State to come into town and for them to just roll over, but they didn't. And it was pretty awesome watching the video of I think his name's Rick Neuheisel. He's Jerry Neuheisel's dad, and he works for CBS. He was watching the game live in studio and just cheering on his son. All the feels really warms your heart to see stuff like that. And then it's just the most telling part about the Penn State culture for me is you lose a tough game to Oregon. That was like their inflection point game. A lot of the stuff that they'd been building to was in preparation of that Oregon game, and they were supposed to get a big win in their night whiteout against Oregon, and it didn't end up happening. The next week, when you have championship expectations, you should want to beat whoever you're playing, even if it is UCLA, who's a bad team. You should want to beat the ever living dog shit out of that team. And instead, they played like they thought the ball would just roll out there and they'd be able to win the game. So that's just the most telling thing for me about this Penn State culture. And it starts at the top. So I watched James Franklin's press conference too, and it's kind of the same thing, just saying like preaching about inconsistency, and they have to clean some stuff up. Obviously, a major overhaul in their processes has to happen for actual change to occur. And at this point, it's tough to see James Franklin being the one to steer them in the right direction.
Yeah. I mean, I've been pretty avid for years that I didn't think Penn State. I mean, back to the Crest Elon days, I was a Penn State hater, and they're always the good. Like the I guess like something they could always count on for Penn State. They're always going to win the games they should. They just never scale up and beat the teams they like could beat if they actually were like a very competitive and national title contender. So it's kind of funny to see a game like this where they actually dropped it for once. Yeah, I mean, we talked about it last week with Penn State. Like, we were kind of feeling like James Franklin has hit his ceiling at Penn State in that Penn State program. And I think games like this show like that I kind of validates our point almost. I'm not going to say it like makes it completely right, but games like this, you don't see any big team that's like a national title contender year in and year out drop games like this. I think the closest game I would see like this would be like Bama last year losing to Vanderbilt. They were the same exact point spread favorites on an away game, but Vanderbilt was actually like a decent team. Like they weren't good last year; they were a decent team. And UCLA is one of the worst teams I saw this entire season. So, really funny to see. And I guess like Dusk, I do like the culture thing you pointed out because this is usually a game like when they would lose to Ohio State, they would beat Purdue by 50 the next week.
Like Oregon.
They lost.
Imagine if
Yeah,
Oregon would have lost last week.
Exactly.
Lord have mercy on the next team they played. Lord have mercy.
and instead you're like you lose to UCLA, and the game was 27-7 at halftime or something like that. It
Yeah,
was.
no.
I mean, it got a lot closer, but when you're losing by 20 at half and UCLA is still dialing it up, like you got to have miracles to come back, and you didn't have them.
This is also Penn State is just not built to chase leads in games. Their
No,
whole success is built around them being able to run the ball with a lead, bleed the clock, and then their defense plays really well. But this game was the complete opposite game script. They were getting thrashed on the ground, and when you're chasing points, like mistakes happen, and you see that for Penn State. And the other thing is UCLA. The most impressive part is every time Penn State scored a touchdown, and you thought their defense was ready to steal the momentum back in the game and that they were going to finally climb back into the game, UCLA would go down and answer scores. Three out of the five touchdown drives for Penn State were immediately answered with the UCLA touchdown, which is very telling.
Yeah.
Is this working?
Yeah, you're in, Sam.
Yeah, you're
Give
in.
it to
Oh,
us.
I'm
Give
good.
it to
All right,
us.
I'm
Give it to
back.
us.
All right, my bad, guys. I don't know what's going on with my computer. Anywho, I was boots in the ground in IUP, so I was scoreboard watching most of the first half of this game. But shout out Hudson Seabolt. Him and I were just kind of going back and forth, like, oh, UCLA scored again. Oh, they scored again. But I mean, this is just a classic choke spot. Um, what I was kind of going back to when I was thinking about this game, it gave me similarities to that USC game last year. I don't know how much of that game you guys remember, where they kind of jumped Penn State. They're up like 17-0 early, and Penn State ended up battling their way back just from a lot of USC turnovers. So I wonder if there's just a little bit of a challenge for Penn State with travel, if there's like an internal issue there. Just a weird thought. And but yeah, I know we talk about losers first, but I want to give the flowers to you, CLA here. Just a masterclass by Jerry. It was really cool seeing his dad in the booth there, cheering for him. And another really funny thing was, I don't know if you guys saw this in that post game presser when he was like, yeah, like the one thing was we didn't practice using the microphone. So half the time, like I couldn't get the play in. So that was just funny and another dig at Penn State. Pretty cool stat here. I don't think people realize the magnitude of this upset. So this is the largest point spread outright upset in the last 5 years. Okay, UCLA beating Penn State outright since 2020. The second biggest is also Penn State in 2021 when they lost outright to Illinois in a overtime classic. And the third was actually Colorado over TCU in 2023 in the debut of Deion Sanders. But I'll give this one to you guys. What do you guys think Penn State needs to do from here? Like I know it's the elephant in the room coaching wise.
Well, I just want to kind of I want to kind of dissect how the country looks at Penn State. The country, because and their Penn State's own fan base looks at themselves as a perennial top 10 program in the country. And the last from 2022 on, kind of a fair assessment of them. But historically, it's not a fair assessment of them. And I just want you guys to take a guess. So, since 2006, how many 10-win seasons do you think Penn State has had?
Is that
5.
counting bowl games?
Yeah, counting everything.
I'm gonna say 7.
Okay. They have 8.
Oop.
Since 2006, they have 8 10-win seasons. Pretty good. Not elite, pretty good. How many 10-win seasons do you think Michigan State has?
7.
7. Are they closer to Michigan State or are they closer to Ohio State? And my contention has always been they're closer to Michigan State, which is why I think Franklin has actually done a really good job at Penn State. And he has squeezed a lot of juice out of this program. He's like the Mark D'Antonio of what Michigan State had going. Because that's where most of their success came from in like the D'Antonio era. That's just my contention, and that's why I think if I'm Penn State, like they just need to recalibrate expectations, which they won't. Which they won't. They're gonna fire James Franklin. They're gonna find a way to get him out of the building. It's some I believe, but I don't think he's. I don't think I wouldn't blame. I wouldn't put all the blame on him. You're in a tough recruiting area, recruiting where your in-state recruits are not as good as some of the perennial contenders that you're playing against. Historically, the program hasn't been as good, and yeah, they haven't won a national championship since the '80s. So it's not like, and they were dead at the end of the Joe Pa era. Like Joe Pa, Bob, Bill O'Brien, that's Bob, and then that would get James Franklin. So again, they literally, and I'm not saying this was like a super impressive season last year because they beat everybody they had to and lost everybody they had to, but they were a drive away from a national championship appearance, a drive away. How many more times is Penn State going to be a drive away from a national championship game in the next 10 years? That's the question I kind of posed to the podcast. What do you guys think about everything I just said?
I think the only I see your argument and kind of agree with you. The state of Penn State right now probably closer to Michigan State than Ohio State, but I think the fan base makes the difference, and they will never accept that fact just because of how relevant they were in the 80s and 90s and when Joe Pa was there. Like it will never the importance of Penn State football will always be there, even as like Pennsylvania as a recruiting base declines and the results on the field decline with James Franklin. The importance of Penn State football and that fan base will never change. And I think that does make the biggest difference for them over Michigan State.
Which I agree, but they went 0-5 in 2020. Like they're bound for bad years. They're just not gonna be 10-2 every single year. Like the fact that James Franklin has like brainwashed us to like that's what Penn State is, like I think that's kind of impressive. Um, Sam, what do you think?
Yeah, I think I was thinking about this. It seems a lot like very similar to Michigan in a sense in the early Harbaugh era when they were kind of flirting around the 9-3, 10-2, but really couldn't get over that hump, which was Ohio State for those 6 years. And then they eventually did won a national championship. And I think that is kind of like overshadowing the how they weren't as good last year and the struggles they had before. And I don't think that James Franklin has that like thing to fall back on. He doesn't have like, oh, we made it to the conference championship game because Ohio State choked to Michigan, or oh, we made it to the semis in the playoff because we played a SMU in Boise State and then blew up against Notre Dame. So is firing him the right move? I don't know because you have to think of it economically. Like Pate was saying this, like I don't know if James Franklin would go right back into coaching and if that would be a good idea for him. Like why would he if Penn State's going to pay him $50 million, whatever that buyout is? And then on top of that, Penn State's going to have to pay. Like, are they going to go and get some random guy, or are they going to try to go get like Sig, and then they're going to buy him out from Indiana and then pay him? So there's just going to be a lot of
Hundreds of $1 million in transaction fees
right. And
to
like,
pull this trigger.
are we sure like they have like this is like an athletic department like catastrophic move, and it just depends on how aggressive this AD is. Like they've also put like then on the other hand side of the coin, like they got Jim Knowles, they got Colt Necky. They have two of the best coordinators in the game. And here you are not being able to beat what people thought was the worst Power Five team up to this point. But would sins be forgiven if they somehow beat Ohio State? It's like there's opportunities in front of them, but like where is their ceiling in retrospect to like how much higher can they go?
How are they ever going to be a drive away from a national championship in the next 10 years?
Or are they ever going to play two not great teams in the playoff and
Exactly. Exactly.
two teams where you're double digit favorite?
My point exactly. Like everything fell into place.
So yeah, I think that like unless a disaster happens where they go like 6-6, I would expect him to get another chance.
I think they're staring down the barrel of 9-3 or 8-4. You probably lose the Ohio State game, and that Indiana game is also a tough game. Yeah, I think they play
Iowa
Nebraska
on the road at night next
and
week.
Iowa and Nebraska.
Like, what about the quit factor too?
Yeah, yeah. This is kind of Duska. This is kind of where like the championship medal of a team, even though obviously they're not probably going to play for a championship, but like what? How do you hold yourself as like a man, as a team, as a group of people? This is where that comes in because they could still, like Sam said, they could still revive this season and they might go 9-3. But if they go 9-3, think about how many big wins that would mean. Like that would mean only losing to Ohio State the rest of the year, which is still really impressive, like you're saying, Sam, because they still have the bulk of their schedule to go. So they have an opportunity to like to come together as a team and do something special.
Just
Yeah,
to
I would.
just to play devil's advocate though, like wasn't that the expectation of them in the first place? Like, oh, they're probably going to lose to Ohio State. They could lose to Oregon. 10-2 seems pretty likely. Like obviously now you've lost to UCLA, so it changes everything. But wasn't that the expectation before? Like they would beat every team besides Ohio State and Oregon.
Yeah, but
So like how special is that actually?
no, but I'm saying like it's still hard to do that.
For
No
sure.
matter what the expectations are, it doesn't matter what the expectations are. You still have to go out and execute. You still have to win like 9 football games in a Big Ten conference where every game is you're playing against top tier talent and coaches. Like we've gotten used to them doing that, but in thinking like, oh, like they'll just beat the teams they're favored and lose the team they're not favored. But to go like be a 5.5 point favorite against Iowa on in play at Iowa, like just because you're a 5.5 point favorite doesn't mean like that's not going to be like a physically demanding. You know what I'm saying, Duska? Like,
No, I get what
although,
you're it's certainly impressive to win 9 games in the Big Ten. Like
yes,
you shouldn't take that away from that team. And like that's like the true value of it is like people can recognize like 9 wins is like really hard to achieve, but
hmm
the other side is like how Penn State fans are and they take the everything you've talked about for granted
yes,
and
yes,
would be upset about it. But like
and
I 100% get what you're saying. Like
and
that
they're
is 9 wins is super valuable.
super valuable, and they're taking pitchforks to James Franklin right now, like literally pitchforks. Um, you know, they all,
Northwestern,
dude.
Northwestern, Northwestern.
See, okay, do you want to? Yeah, I like that tweet. I want to get in. Okay, two things. Well, three. One, Nico was awesome in this game. His accuracy and athleticism were attributes that like popped off the TV. They had by far the best quarterback in this game. And then surprisingly, you could on the TV copy, you could hear a lot of juice from that UCLA building. Um, that was kind of sick. And that might be is that the best UCLA win like we've ever seen?
Between that and A and
Best one
M,
I've
like
ever seen. Yeah.
Yeah, like that
between
was
that and A&M, like 6 years ago, when they came back, and I'm pretty sure it was in Kyle Field.
Josh Rosen.
Josh Rosen, yeah,
Yeah,
Got him picked in
yeah,
the top 10.
yeah. Um, also, yeah,
short list.
it's also so
Basketball
funny.
school.
Oh, I wanted to get to like
True.
a couple of the things, like the 4th and 2 play call, um, for Penn State season in the high red. That was such an abortion, and like two guys are free off the edge. The tight end doesn't block anybody. Like literally such a shambles play, and like that just encapsulates like Penn State in like the big like in just like the most crucial moments. Like I can remember Sam like Saquon Barkley on like the 4th and 5 call where they just handed the ball off to Saquon. He got
That was
tackled.
Sanders.
Oh, is it Miles Sanders? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's what it
and
was.
Chase
Yeah.
Young blew it up.
Yes, yes. Um,
And that was an epic play call.
epic, epic.
Fourth and
But
five draw after a timeout.
yeah, yeah, that was insane. But that's the 4th and 2, like watching that and just being like, oh, what a tear. Like not even a chance in hell. Not even a chance in hell. So it's tough for Penn State right now. It's tough. We'll see what they got. Um, but
See what they're made of.
I think
you go.
quick before we go on, I think like this could arguably be the biggest 7 game stretch of Franklin's career.
Yeah, arguably
Without a
it is.
doubt.
No, it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, this is
Like,
it.
can he get these guys back into gear?
Yeah.
Or like also the style of football. You guys can talk more about this than I can. Like that style of football that they play, where like you're just grinding it out, running it every down. Like they play such a physical style to where like imagine having to go suit that up in the cold when you're 4-3, and like I don't know. I think the quit meter should be watched, especially if they lose to Iowa.
I don't really think the quit matters for them because I just don't think their team is that good. But that's just, like they could be all bought in, and I still don't think that they could. Like I still think they'll lose two more games at least.
My
Like, and I
one
bet like the quit factor, I mean, could like bottom the program out. I think Franklin has the guys, like tamed enough to where he wouldn't let that happen because I do think he's a good because I think he's a good coach. I just don't think he's a great coach, and like he doesn't belong in any of the top 5 college football coaches, in my opinion. Which has been my whole contention. I think I mean, what he did at Vanderbilt, like in the 2011 to 2013, when I was a kid, I still remember that. Like he was good.
yeah.
So I don't think he's gonna like allow his team to quit. But I just don't think they're that good. I think that's the biggest issue with them. But that could just be the like casual hindsight opinion.
Another thing that's been weird is like Nick Singleton not being a factor in a lot of these games. Nick Singleton has 63 attempts and he's averaging 3.8 a carry. Katron Allen has 9 less attempts and he's averaging 7 yards a carry. Um, I don't know. I just think that's been interesting because Nick Singleton was like kind of their spark plug, like their guy. And like so far, Katron Allen has been the better back, and they just haven't been able to get Singleton going the way they usually can. And um, that wouldn't be as big of a problem if the quarterback they had was a top 10 quarterback in college football, but we keep seeing that he's not. Um, and that he's way closer to Kmart Big Ben than he is actual Big Ben.
He's horrible.
He's not horrible. I wouldn't go that far.
He's not good.
He has like really good glimpses. Like that post right through the first Oregon was beautiful.
Yeah,
The
really
Oregon
good.
And then
throw
you
is really
see
good.
and
And
then you
he's
see the Oregon throw to the white dude in double overtime to lose the game. You're just like,
I mean, putting up 30 and a half, like you don't do that by being like ass at football. Like,
when did I do
They
it?
had to block
UCLA?
punt.
no, I mean, no, Penn State they put up 30 in the second half. So,
Against UCLA?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
The other thing is with Aller is it's another sign that there's something is just off with the James Franklin program overall. Obviously, good team, and like Arch was saying, he deserves some credit for what he's done at Penn State. But with Aller being in year 3 and him being as inconsistent as he is still, that's a testament to James Franklin, the way they develop quarterbacks in general, and the fact that there's no noticeable improvement from this year to last year with Aller, despite him having another year with the same OC and in the same program. That's another testament to something just being a little off.
Do you think there's any weight to the fact? Do you think like they should have kept? I don't know how you even do this, but do you think like Bro Pabula, they should have kept? I don't know how you do that. I don't know how
They
you
could.
keep.
There, I don't think
I
there's
think
any
people
way they
that
could have
talk
kept
about
him.
that is dumb.
Yeah,
I
I
agree.
think
I
that
agree, Arch.
Papula may be
I don't think
better.
Bo Papula is that better. I don't think Bo Papula is better than Drew Aller. I'm sorry. Like Missouri's schedule so far has been like fine, and I think he's going to play good versus Bama on Saturday. You couldn't tell me if you put Papula in that offense, they would look any different than they do. Penn State's offense is anemic as a whole, and it's
See,
not
I
like
don't agree with that. I
I
think
mean
the way that Prbula runs, I think he would be a much better fit for that offense
I
than
think he'd be
Aller.
better fit, but I think he would also throw a lot more mistakes and turnover worthy plays. Because Aller to this point, he doesn't have a lot of when he has flashes, but like I feel like he's usually pretty safe with decision making, and he doesn't make like so many throws where you're just like where he's like a liability for turnovers. I mean, the Oregon one was horrible, but like I think he's a little safer with the ball than Pabula was. I mean, we've seen Pabula,
But
That's the
Sam,
thing about Allers. Like when he's trying to press, though, that's when the
yeah,
bad decisions always come at the most critical moments. Like that's when he throws the worst picks.
yeah.
So yes, he's safe with the ball. His interception numbers are low, but when he's pressing and Penn State needs to score points, that's where the real Drew Aller comes out, and you see those mistakes.
This is
yeah.
this is what I would prescribe Penn State if I was to be their doctor. I would say the best Andy Kolenicki's offense has ever looked was at Kansas with Jalen Daniels. It's a very collegey offense with get a collegey quarterback. I wouldn't go get a pro style quarterback. I would get the best collegey quarterback in the portal next year. I'd run it all back. I would bring the portal. I mean, do what you do. Keep a lot of the things the same. Make minor tweaks everywhere. Like, obviously their linebacker play needs to improve. The depth of that room needs to be better. There's obviously whatever you can. We don't have to get all into their personnel, but the personnel is mostly pretty good. If you can just get a dynamic playmaker at quarterback with Andy Kolenicki, that might be how the offense is the best. And Jim Knowles, like he's a really good coordinator, and year one isn't always like the best year for your defense. Like sometimes it takes a while to take root in a system. So like again, I'm being optimistic, but I really don't think they should fire Franklin. I want them to fire Franklin. And I would like James Franklin to go to the Pittsburgh Panthers. And I think that would just be awesome if that won't happen. But that is my hope that Penn State fires James Franklin, and then James Franklin is really upset, decides to come to Pitt for like 2 years, clean everything up, and then leave for a better job.
I think he'd retire
Before we move
taking
on,
the Pitt job.
What'd you say, Sarge?
I said I think he'd retire before taking the Pitt job.
That's real.
Yeah, real, definitely.
hey, before we go to the Miami game, do you know where Penn State is traveling to next year in week 2? Anyone?
Is it
I
Florida
feel like you
State?
said this on the podcast before.
Lincoln Financial Field, the place the Temple Owls in week 2.
That's the game
dude.
that Franklin gets.
We might have to go to
That's
that.
the day that they bury Franklin.
Dude, we might have
Casey
to go.
Keeler takes down James Franklin.
That actually might
and the
be
Knicks.
the day that they fire Franklin. That'd be a fire. Yeah, that'd be super fire.
He might not get fired at that moment, but that was the moment he got fired.
All right, let's move on to Miami, Florida State. I don't really want to spend all that much time on this. Dude, here are my thoughts. Miami's damn good. I have a minor concern that they struggle to run the ball, but I do think Florida State's front is no joke. Bama really struggled to run the ball against them. So that's kind of Malachi Toney, he's 18 years old. He's the best player on the field every time he steps on the field. Carson Beck looks good. Also a little bit weird that they couldn't there was 28-3 and this game kind of got a little bit dicey late. So that's one concern. But at the end of the day, I think Miami's just a far better team than anybody in the ACC. What say you guys?
Yeah, Charlie, we were kind of saying this when we were watching. Sorry, I'll just go real fast. Charlie, we were saying this when we were watching in my house. And you're like, yeah, sometimes too much Tommy Castellanos is not a good thing. And it kind of felt like my thought with Florida State is like maybe they were just a one-trick pony, and all this Gus Malzahn gimmicky motion, reverse, weird snap from the sideline when he's looking at the sideline. Like once that got on film, it felt like Miami was so prepared for this that like they didn't catch him off guard, kind of like they did with Bama, and they kind of just jumped Bama, and I think that kind of inflated our thought on Florida State. And that being said, though, I think Miami is so elite, especially defensively, to where they should just buzz their way to the rest of the ACC. But this is giving me similar vibes to a couple years ago with the turnover chain Miami team, where they just smoked everyone all year. And then that's the last game of the season. It was a little bit cold, and they had to travel Pittsburgh, PA, against a 4-7 Pitt team. Nothing to play for with a freshman quarterback. It sounds a bit eerie, doesn't it? And something that is probably going to happen again this year when they have to travel to Pittsburgh at the end of the season to play a hungry young quarterback. So keep an eye out for that. But
Second
yeah,
best run defense
Miami
in America.
Miami should cruise from here.
Yeah, agreed. I just wanted to, Sam already talked about the defense, so I just wanted to point something out real quick about Florida State. Before this game, they were averaging 295 rushing yards per game. Now, the stats may have been a little inflated. They ran for nearly 500 rushing yards against Kent State and then nearly 400 rushing yards against Eastern Texas A&M University.
Oh.
But they also ran it for 230 against Bama and 250 against UVA. So they've done it against Power Four teams as well. So Miami holding them to 132 yards on 38 attempts. I think that was the most impressive thing about this game for me. And then also we talked about Ruben Bain and Akeem Mesidor at length already. Their tackling ability of their DBs in this game really impressed me. Poiser, Jacoby Thomas, and Damari Brown, they were very impressive, just fitting the run all game and making some big plays. So just really impressive defense, really good team, and yeah, it just seems like they're about to get downhill and they're not going to have a good game until we get to December.
Yeah, I think obviously good win for Miami. Cristobal almost did his usual mismanagement of the game by just taking the pedal off the gas. I mean, I think they genuinely could have scored 40 plus on this Florida State defense. I think when Florida State showed you kind of what their defense was against Virginia, they were very sloppy in tackling. Their secondary is not very good. Bama just wasn't able to take advantage of that because FSU's trenches somehow whooped their offensive line. But Miami was able to move the ball at will. I think Florida State's defense is going to be their downfall, and it's going to make where, like Sam and you were saying, Chuck, when their defense is bad, that means Thomas Castellanos has to touch the ball way more than you would want him to, and he has to do things that probably some good, definitely some bad. So he's either going to score for you or for them. So that's going to be unfortunate, but I don't know. No, you go.
I was just gonna say I have to tell this one Tommy Cassiano story. I don't know how true it is, but sources from the BC program said that he was the only quarterback where when they call a play from the huddle and you come up from the sideline, like so if you have a wristband, right? The wristband is only one side of the play. So if you're running the play like on the left hash and you want the strength for the formation to the right, in order to call it from the left, you just say flip 49. So you read 49, but you flip it. And so instead of saying like king left classy, you would go king right classy, right? You change you make the play call go from right to left. And am I frozen on the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you though.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. He was the only quarterback that they had to put a wristband here and a wristband on his waist because he like just couldn't flip the play because you also have to flip the run. So if you're flipping it right, if it's like king right 87 wham, it has to be like king left 86. You know what I'm saying? So
Not to
he's
brag or
he's a
anything.
gamer. He's a gamer, but he's not. I wouldn't call him like I don't know.
Not to brag or anything. I played in my junior year of high school in our playoffs, and we shut him down because like it's whatever you said is the epitome of it. Every play, like it's just clearly that he's not a field general. He's a playmaker.
No, yes,
and they just put him at quarterback, and obviously he didn't make many plays against the mighty Wolves, but yeah, I mean he is who he is. He's been that way since UCF. Florida State. I mean, he does fit the Malzahn system, which is just playmaker central quarterback. But yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So that's all we got for that. Let's get into the Florida Texas game. Here are some of my notes for this game. So I thought Jane Ball was them getting him going was just like huge. Huge, made all the difference. That one kid, Dallas Wilson, that freshman receiver for Florida, him coming back, unbelievable. DJ Lagway looked pretty good with a good run game, competent run game, and yeah, this looked like a completely different Florida team, and it looks like maybe the bye was what Florida needed as like their medicine, and they have a huge game against Texas A&M coming up this week, and if they get that one, then you're like, oh wow, Florida's legit, Florida's for real. But that's kind of like the Florida thing. I wanted to reiterate again that I believe in DJ Lagway. I think he's a really good quarterback, and I think he's on the verge of greatness. I don't think the LSU game will define him this season, and I think he's going to keep proving that. Um, the other quarterback we got to talk about is Arch Manning, who's fielding a lot of blame, and maybe on the podcast you guys also think he deserves his fair share of blame. And on that second touchdown throw, I mean, dude, pressure in his face all day. Like all day, he's has to maneuver in the pocket, like change his arm angles, like climb, retreat, like doing all that stuff just to get the ball out of his hands. The second touchdown throw where he steps up, rolls a little right, and then throws the deep post, like that was just a really elite play. Um, but I don't think that the Texas O line is simply not good. And I was not impressed with the depth of the Texas receiver unit. I think Ryan Wingo is good. Uh, Everybody else is pretty spotty. That white kid made a couple plays, but number 13. But yeah, I thought the depth of the room, like one of the yeah, just I don't know. I don't think it's all Arch's fault. I think obviously he's worse than what the people crowned him, but there's time for him to develop. I don't think like it's all over, and I don't think people need to panic. Like I think we've seen development.
Yeah. I guess I'll go. I think that Arch Manning has played exactly how like most people would think he would if you like consider most people as in like people that understand football. I think he's played about when you look at the offense as a whole. I mean, there's a guy, Brooks Austin, he's a UGA, he's like UGA coverage, but he does like film studies every week, and he broke down Texas's offense this week because it's like clearly broken. And it's when I like watch some of it, the offensive line play, like you said, Chuck, is horrible. And I don't know how you'd expect the first year starter to step into that with worse weapons than last year. I mean, his best weapon is Wingo or that tight end Andreas is the guy who's a Cal transfer. So I don't think it's like in the whole. I don't want to even spend too much time like the whole athletic and all those people that are putting like these like hit pieces on Arch now, like how he's the biggest failure because they can't admit their own mistakes. That they were actually the failure that said he was going to be the greatest of all time. So I honestly hate it for Arch because I think like there's like a clip of him at SEC Media Day where he literally like someone asked him about being the Heisman favorite. And he literally says, I mean, I've only played 2 games. I mean, he's like, so they can say whatever they want, but he's like, it's up to me to actually like. He's like, he literally said, talk is cheap. Like I actually have to do it. It says like he even is acknowledging his own, like he's acknowledging how ridiculous it's gotten from that, and he still gets blamed for like he's the one who's writing the stories and stuff like that. Which I don't even want to. That's a whole other topic, but yeah, it was a good win for Florida though. Really impressive to Napier to get his fellas fired up for this game. It was a classic. It was vintage 2024 into the season Napier performance. So. It was cool to see. Also, one last thing.
Napier with his job on the line is a different guy. He's a different coach.
Yeah. Also, one last thing about Florida. Shout out Ellie Stokes. Chuck and Sam, their old neighbor, a girl that goes to Mercer Law with me, said that she knew her from one of the comments on a video. So shout out Ellie for commenting and watching the show.
Shout out Stokes, friend of the program. Do you guys have pressing? What you want to quickly give thoughts or?
I think it's good for Florida's defense. I think of the whole team, they've just been impressive all year and have showed up to every game and played hard. So it's good for them to finally get a win. And yeah, the Florida offense had an air of explosivity that was missing previously. Good that they got Dallas Wilson back. And then just agree with you guys. 52 yards, 26 carries, 2 yards per carry, putting Arch in a lot of bad situations where I don't think the expectation for any quarterback would be too high if your average yards a game, whatever it was. I'm sure it was really bad on third down for Texas. And those situations are tough for any QB, and definitely unfair criticism being placed on him for his performance in this game because I thought he flashed some good signs.
Mhm.
And for his performance overall this season, just a guy trying to get his legs under him. Definitely being the quarterback at Texas carries a lot of expectations, but definitely undue blame being placed on Arch as well. Just moral of the story, good win for Florida. Glad that their defense was finally able to see a victory after the fruits of all their labor.
Yeah, I mean, same. I don't have that much. I felt like this was very obvious that at some point the Florida was just going to kind of all come together and pull out a big win, especially at home. And I agree with you guys. I think the Arch slander is a little bit sloppy. Um, and to take a different route, like you also have to like add the human aspect of you have never really started you've never started a full season in college. You're the Texas quarterback. You have all these commercials, ads, everyone calling you the Heisman, all this pressure on you, and like it's just natural for him not to live up to these insane expectations. And especially when he's not in a situation right now to succeed. If you look at any quarterback that's been successful in year one, it's because of the pieces around them, especially trenches and O line and running back. And that has not been a big thing for them. So, and they got a big one on Saturday. So we'll get into that a little bit later. But
I think Arch is going to be really good. Like
I
I've
agree.
seen everything I needed to see to be like, all right, like give this kid time. And Sark is a quarterback wizard. Like it's going to be fine. The problem is not Arch, in my opinion.
I was impressed by the way he threw the ball downfield at some points
Yeah,
in the game.
and I thought the picks like they weren't the most disgusting things I've ever seen. Like, dude, they asked him to like will them in that game. So, um, let's move on. Let's move on. I'm gonna call this segment. I'm gonna do a quick Homer segment. Then I'm gonna call the next segment. I'm gonna give quick storylines and then like kick it to one of you guys for some input because we've had a lot of week 7 ball to talk about. So Navy Air Force happened. Navy won 34-31 in an absolute barn burner. All hail the Third Reich. Heidenreich. Uh, uh, when that gets clipped
Yeah,
out of context and for for future employment, just don't get upset at us. it's all good.
we just got demonetized. That is simply what just happened. We are
E-
shadow banned now on YouTube.
Eli Heidenreich, Pittsburgh native Navy receiver. He set the receiving touchdown record for a career at Navy with 14. And he had 8 receptions for 243 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like insane. He had 243 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. Um, Blake and Eli could have magical Heisman runs if they continue to win football games because the Heisman race is wide open. So, I'm holding up. Shout out Liam Zarka, who is the Air Force quarterback, gave the mids hell all day. 100 he threw for 212, rushed for 152. Air Force tight end Bruin Fleischman also had 166 yards and a touchdown. And then Air Force had some sick unis if you guys did not see them. The gray, and then on the back plate, instead of like a last name, their position group each had a different flag on the back. It was really cool. So Air Force came to play with the unis. Eli Heidenreich had himself a day, and I also just got a shadow banned. The next thing is the gauntlet the Navy's going to go through in November. The November gauntlet, they play North Texas, Notre Dame, USF, Memphis, Army. So they play the North Texas, USF, and Memphis games are huge conference games those stretch will determine kind of. I think the G5 team might come from this conference, like the American Athletic, between either USF, Memphis, North Texas, or Navy. So I think that's going to be pretty fun. And then obviously you throw in Notre Dame, which they play every year, and then Army, which they play
And
every year.
Temple this week.
Huge game for Navy. We will not overlook the Temple Owls. That is not something we do. Casey Keeler has earned the respect of this podcast and Brian Newberry in the mids. Enough Navy talk. Let's go on to Alabama. Alabama blanks Diego Pavia and the Vanderbilt offense in the second half to secure a big SEC win and avenge the 2024 loss, 30-14. Does anybody have some thoughts on this game that they would like to bless the audience with?
Sure. Alabama's offense has really improved, especially throughout the season. It feels like Bama just keeps getting better and better and better as the year goes on, and they continue to become more balanced, which is really scary for the rest of the SEC. They had almost 500 yards of offense in this game, and the defense shutting out Vandy in the second half kind of felt like the outcome of this game, especially in that later half of the third quarter, was never really in doubt. Just a very dominant win by Alabama, and they look like a scary team.
Cogent analysis, Sam. Thank you. We're
All
gonna
right,
kick.
Kyle Schwarber just hit a nuke.
Oh, no
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. Tie
Oh
game, though.
my. Santa Maria.
That's sick. He was
Too bad Ranger Suarez grooved his first pitch of the game to Tommy Edman, and he hit a. It's okay. This is a
okay.
football podcast.
Football podcast. We could sneak some MLB stuff in later in the
You never
But
know.
yeah, also I just wanted to mention, just want to give some flowers to Ty Simpson. Guy's just a gamer. He just knows how to be the point guard and distribute to his guys, and he's always accurate on the easy throws too, which is a huge underrated part of quarterback play. And when it's 3rd and 5, and there's nothing like he also has ability on 3rd and 5 when there's nothing there to move around a little bit, scramble, make a big play for this team. So I've just been really impressed with how quickly Ty Simpson has developed and seasoned in these first 5 starts. And the biggest stat to show that they were 9 for 18 combined on 3rd and 4th down in this game, and it was similar stats against Georgia last week. So, or yeah, last week. So just being efficient, very impressive quarterback play out of Ty Simpson.
Okay, next one. Sam, you're going to take this. Pitt freshman Mason Heichel, who is talking to my sister's roommate at Pitt. So me and my dad knew that he was starting on Monday before the news even came out. So shout out my sister's
We should have broke it.
I
We
no,
got to get in the news breaking
He
game.
broke it in the group chat before I saw it on 3. I was confused.
yeah, I broke it in the group chat. Exactly. But
We got to start
yeah,
making money off of it.
Yeah, we do.
True.
You
So
heard it as reported first by the Forward Pass.
Forward Pass reported it first. Thank you, Madeline. Thank you, Madeline's roommate, who I probably should know her name. I don't. But yeah, so Mason, big day. They beat BC. He was 30 for 41 with 323 and 4 touchdowns as they trounced the lifeless BC Eagles, whom Arch has a sizable investment in. Your thoughts, Sam? Oh, 48 to 7.
hail.
48 to 7, by the way. Like literally. Hail.
Yeah, hail to Pitt. Pretty good that they were able to get up for this game behind this freshman quarterback. The team kind of rallied around him, which was kind of expected.
No Des Reed either. So missing the
Sloppy
best kid.
performance from BC. That being said, I don't know why this isn't getting talked about because I hear it. I watched the whole thing about Duke, and Pitt is alive and well in the ACC championship race. If this quarterback is legit, granted, film could change a lot of things. But I mean, you have the opportunity, and it starts Saturday in Tallahassee, where things could be getting a little bit dicey. I believe that's going to be a noon game, so maybe not as much of a ruckus environment as you would think. Maybe they were up so high that they think they're going to play Pitt, but this epic defense comes and blows them up.
I might have to make that my super dog.
Yeah, so that is like a massive game for Pitt, especially in the ACC wildcard race, or ACC, basically the ACC wildcard, because Miami's got the number 1 seed pretty much locked down. And they also should be 5-0. So this is a pretty good football team, and I'm excited for Saturday. You guys should be too. A game that's not getting talked about nearly enough is this one. Tune into ESPN at noon to watch the Panthers keep their ACC championship hopes alive.
Next game.
It's on.
Oh.
Oh, sorry, I was gonna say.
No.
Pitt is on Arch Madness this week. I like their. I like the spot after. I'm a believer in that guy. He had 3 big time throws to 1 turnover worthy play against BC, throwing wise. So that's like the advanced analytics stuff. So excited to see him against another horrendous defense.
So the Fighting Gus Weimerds fell in OT to UVA. That's Louisville University. If you're not a friend of the program, this is not a surprising result after Louisville squeaked past Pitt and JMU. So they lose 30-27 in OT. That's tough for my ACC championship prediction bid for Louisville, but we will continue to support the Cards as
Who was the other team you had in that championship game?
they reside in South Carolina. Clemson, I think. Yeah.
They beat Chapel Bill this week.
Dude, yeah. Huge win over
Did you see all the news with UNC?
No.
The Hulu thing?
Belichick's already negotiated. Well, this is like another show, but he's negotiating a buyout already. They're like trying to get him out. UNC donors are moving fast. Next,
oh my God.
Coach is already calling other playoff caliber teams saying they'll take a job to go on their staff and they'll start in the playoffs. Like crazy.
What a mess.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I wonder who could have saw this coming.
Yeah.
In Annapolis, Maryland, I have you know, whenever that news broke for the Army-Navy game, the group of like 8 of us with Mr. Mark Mill, said what a mess that is going to be. And after 5 weeks or 6, no shock. No surprise. No surprise.
Guys, I just wanted there's a thing that football coaches say just to piggyback on what you're saying, there's a thing football coaches say, and the saying goes something like this: Duska, if you know how the sentence ends, please fill in the blank. What makes good coaches?
Is it good players?
It's good players. That's
Okay.
the answer to the question. And the lifeline of UNC, I mean, of college sports and college football is recruiting. So if you are an unwilling recruiter, there is zero chance you succeed in the sport. So with all the news that was coming out in the summer that like Bill Belichick hated the recruiting aspect of the sport, I was like, well, that's 78% of the job. So you're gonna really struggle if you don't like recruiting in college football. But we'll move on. The pod, guys, we might have underrated the Cincinnati Bearcats. They beat Iowa State 38-30. It's a great win against Iowa State and Iowa State's first blemish on their resume. Since he is undefeated in Big 12 play, and Soares RB is methodically getting the Bearcats to where they need to go. So UCF and Oklahoma State are up next for the Cincinnati Bearcats. They're kind of rolling right now, and Soares RB is he's doing his thing. So we might have underrated that Nebraska win. That Nebraska win looks pretty good now, seeing what Cincy's been. Arch, you got something?
No.
Okay.
Just insane how downhill Cincinnati gets. Like they're number 3 and number 6, they're 2 backs, like unreal.
Evan Pryor.
Yes, Evan Pryor and Tawi Walker.
Just
However
seeking.
you say it.
They
Yeah.
seek contact.
Number 3 is like actually heat-seeking missile to just mess someone up on every play. It's pretty awesome.
They seek contact.
Yeah.
Do you guys happen to catch the end of their game against Kansas?
They scored with like 30 seconds
Like
left.
but the like horrendous Steven that got dropped right before that.
I didn't watch any
Yeah.
of that.
My buddy from work was at my house and he went to Kansas. We were watching the end and like Kansas like made a strong effort to lose that game. So I mean, but sometimes that's what you need to propel your season. Do they play any of the big dogs in the Big 12?
Let's ask producer Jesse to pull up their schedule.
No, they play Utah, I think.
The Bengals.
I looked up Cincinnati's schedule and they pulled up the Bengals.
Second best team in Cincinnati. Second best
They
football
got
team.
Baylor, they got Baylor, Utah, Arizona, BYU after their little 2-game on time.
Okay. Cincinnati, enjoy it now.
Yeah, they have a hard schedule.
Arizona. Oh,
Utah, Arizona, BYU, TCU,
they get
Baylor.
Arizona and BYU at home, which is nice.
Yeah, it's
Baylor at home.
Everything's in front of them, though. We got to admit that, and they can
TCU
still lose
at
1 or 2
TCU.
games and make They can lose 2 of these games and still make the Big 12 championship. Next one, Arch. I'm gonna give you this one. Texas Tech skull drags the Houston Cougars 35-11 in their own building. When a team tells you who they are, aka Houston going to OT against G5 Oregon State, believe them. This podcast did not do that. We are sorry. Arch Madness Substack did not do that. I'm sure he's sorry. Arch.
Yeah, Texas Tech is legit. I mean, their defense is like really good. Houston's quarterback Wegman, the A&M transfer, went down early, but I don't think it would have mattered because he was playing horrible too. Houston's just, I don't know. I mean, I believe they were Sam's super dog, but I mean, I like them too. Yeah, Texas Tech is in a league of their own, different caliber team in the Big 12.
Next, I don't know if anybody got eyes on this game. So anybody, I'm not picking anybody. You just jump in. I don't know how, but Washington went on a 24-0 run to end the game, which was good enough to beat Maryland 24-20. They usually say that basketball is a game of runs, not football. And Maryland started off the game with a 20-0 run, and then Washington finished the game with a 24-0 run. So a pretty electric game flipping on its head in the Washington versus Washington battle. Washington, last name of the freshman quarterback at Maryland.
I'll just say Malik Washington, known great quarterback as a
Yep.
true freshman. He was
Yep.
so good.
Yep.
And then Damon Williams too, just so fast. And the Washington's electric ball in the second half coming all the way back. And then on the last Maryland drive, the Terps receiver dropped a dime by Malik Washington that would have put them. I think it would have put them in the red zone, and they would have had a good chance of winning the game. But I don't really know how Washington came back, but the Maryland offense was bad in the second half, and um, if they ran it for more than 2.8 yards per carry and were able to bleed the clock a little bit more, they probably would have won this game. But Nebraska Maryland this week will be fun.
Cool that Maryland's kind of back.
There was a pretty egregious unsportsmanlike call in that game too, which helped turn up the comeback for Washington early on in the second half. Like really egregious.
Yeah, I didn't end up seeing that.
I forget exactly what it was,
Right.
but yeah.
Well, the next part of the podcast, we're gonna go through the Super Dogs. Luke tried to go to the Tulsa well again.
Tulsa well is dry as
Yeah,
can be.
yeah.
Mhm.
Which I get it though, because we've gotten beat twice by that coach, Duska.
Trey Lamb,
Trey Lance beat us twice in our football careers.
2
So
years in a row,
yeah,
23 and
Different
24.
schools.
yeah. Gardner
Yeah,
Webb,
2 different schools.
Gardner Webb, ETSU. No, he's at
He also beat us in 21 spring as well. We weren't there, but
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
J.R. Martin.
known Elon defeater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The J.R. Martin game. Yeah. The fans will talk about it forever. Mississippi State plus 14.5. No.
They covered and they literally were covering like they were losing by like 4 all game and they give up like 28 in the fourth. Can't be bothered.
Insane.
Just a bad bet.
Houston plus 11.5 for Sam. No. And then somehow Michigan
Yep.
State covered by half a point. So the Michigan
That'll
State
be
well
shocked.
is 2-0.
You got a horseshoe up your ass on these super dogs.
Yeah.
Chuck has literally not lost one.
I'm literally undefeated on the
correct?
Super Dogs. And I have 2
Yeah, and with
outrights.
2 outrights. Well, I got a feeling I'm getting one this week.
I love it.
So do I.
I love it. And then RB of the week.
Oh yes. We talked about him earlier. We talked about how we played a great game, probably one of the best games of the season so far. So we thought it was very fitting. In a week where there was definitely some good performances, we thought there would be no one better than to give it to than Mr. Nico Iamaleava. Money bag sign in the middle because he begged for money from Tennessee, and now he's at UCLA. A lot of money in LA. He made some money this weekend, I think, but we'll see. But awesome story for him with New Heisel. Basically, never called plays before, but it doesn't matter when you're playing the Nittany Lions. Let's go, Nico. Running back of the week for week 6.
Congrats, Nico. That's
Also, we've given Nico a lot of flack on this podcast collectively, so we'll give him his flowers too. He played a really good game.
He deserves it. He really deserves it. And now we are upon a glorious week of college football. We get appetizers on Friday. The noon slate's jam-packed. The 3:30 slate is jam-packed. The night slate is jam-packed. And we even have the Pac-12 after dark with Arizona State and Utah. It's literally the most classic slate that could ever appear in a college football season. We are going to start this preview with Alabama. Number 8 Alabama going to Columbia, Missouri to face the number 14 Missouri Tigers. Alabama's a 3.5-point favorite. Fellas, take it away.
I'm leaning into Missouri for one reason in this game.
Okay.
Ahmad Hardy. Georgia was able to run the ball on Alabama. If there was one thing they could do in that game, it was run the ball. And Georgia doesn't have a tailback that has half the talent as Ahmad Hardy. The guy runs hard. He gashes big plays. I think Missouri is going to win this game outright. because of the fact that Bama's gonna have no answer for Ahmad Hardy, and when they finally come up with an answer for him, maybe Bo Prabula or their receivers Kevin Coleman and the other ones get big shot plays. Give me the Tigers. I'm keeping it short and sweet. It's the Ahmad Hardy show.
I like that, Arch. I like that, Arch. I'm gonna give a little something. All right, Duska, actually, I saw your mouth move. I want you to
I
go.
was just gonna say, I think all arrows are pointing in the side. All arrows are pointing towards Missouri based off of just statistics and how they've played so far this year. They're the two Power Four teams they played, Kansas and South Carolina. One ran it for -9 yards and one ran it for 31 yards. No need to say which school did which, but both totals not great for a complete 60-minute football game. We've also seen Alabama really struggle to run the ball against Georgia and Florida State. Last week against Vandy, they bucked the trend a little bit, but you're going to need to see them be a little more consistent and do it for more than 1 week to believe that that run game's actually going to be there. And then Missouri also has been able to get after the quarterback. And I don't think they played an O-line that stacks up the way Alabama does, but protection has been inconsistent for Alabama for sure. Just look at the Florida State game. And for me, the game hinges on that the most. The Alabama pass protection and Missouri, they can be had through the air. It's just, is Ty Simpson going to have time to operate in the pocket? And when he does, obviously, we've seen what he can do. Offensively, Missouri has been able to run the ball at a high level. Arch just mentioned Ahmad Hardy and how Georgia was able to run the ball on the perimeter against Alabama. That was just seriously impressive. And then Florida State and Vandy, similar, really successful on the ground against Alabama in general. So everything in me is saying that Missouri has some actual distinct advantages over Alabama, and they should be able to do enough to win this game at home. But at the end of the day, I'm a Kalen DeBoer guy. I'm looking to see true freshman right tackle Michael Carroll, Keystone baller, Doylestown, PA, play a good amount of snaps in this game. Vandy was the highest snap total he's gotten in a game, and I think he gives them an actual really distinct edge in pass protection compared to some of the other lineups they played. And I think this will give Ty Simpson the time he needs to distribute the ball to an elite receiving core. And so signs pointing towards Missouri. And I'm not really sure how this game script is going to play out, but I just have a feeling that Alabama just finds a way and leaves Columbia with a victory.
Duska, you mentioned some things that I wanted to touch on. First thing, the quarterback matchup. It's very compelling. Two upperclassmen in Bo Prabula and Ty Simpson that have waited their turn to start at college football programs, and they're two dudes that are balling as of now. I just want to make the parallel to the audience of why running the football and stopping the run is really important and how that kind of like plays out in the game. Missouri has the number 3 rushing offense in the country. They're averaging 292 yards per game. They also have the number 1 third down offense at 61.1%. They have the number 1 rushing defense in the country, holding opponents to 62.4 yards a game. And they also have the number 3 third down defense, allowing teams to be 21%. So I say, how important is running the ball? How important is running the ball and stopping the run to third down percentage? Very important. The parallels can be easily made. It's a lot. The whole defensive playbook is open when it's 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 5 plus. The defensive playbook gets really small when it's 3rd and 2. So for the same way as the offense, it's really easy for play callers to call 3rd and 2 as opposed to 3rd and 8. So running the ball on early downs is going to be really important for Alabama, for both Alabama and Missouri. Duska, I'm going with your reasoning as well. I do think Alabama, I believe they have championship mettle. And so I'm looking at this game for them to prove it because I think Missouri is a really good opponent. I think Ahmad Hardy's awesome. I think this game should be really good. Obviously, Vegas thinks so too. It's a field goal spread pretty much. So it's almost a pick 'em. I got Bama just on the sheer fact that I do think their offensive line has been like playing better. Caden Proctor has been more of a problem in a good way as the season has progressed along. So I got Bama. Sam, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the main thing in this game is going to be is Missouri able to rise to the occasion. While they have 2 Power 4 wins, they were against Kansas and then improving roster in South Carolina. But what I do look at in that South Carolina game that I think Bama is going to really be able to take advantage of, South Carolina was able to connect a lot of deep passing. They hit a couple of bombs in the second quarter and they missed what should have been a touchdown on their opening drive. And if that would have hit game could have gone differently. So I think that DeBoer and Grubb are going to be kind of licking their chops here, looking at what a secondary that has been challenged vertically, especially with Bama's elite receiving core compared to South Carolina's. I do also worry a little bit about Missouri's slow starts. They went down, I believe it was 17-0, kind of quickly to Kansas, and South Carolina was winning throughout 2.5 quarters of that game. So they need to be able to put together 4 full quarters of football, and they cannot afford a slow start against this Alabama team. Will Alabama be able to stop the run? They have not been. They have not proved that yet. I saw a lot of strides in that latter half of the Alabama game, and I just think that Missouri is going to have to do everything perfectly in this game to win this game. And I think that the secondary of Missouri and the downfield passing ability of Ty Simpson in Alabama is going to be enough to get them the win here in what I think is actually the most intriguing game of the day. Sadly, it's at noon, but it's a nice way to get the blood flowing early on. Maybe a little Bloody Mary or a nice light beer to get the day started.
Sounds fabulous. Next, we're going to go down to a game that is played in Dallas, Texas. Sam's a resident of that state. It's Oklahoma. It's Texas. Oklahoma, number 6 in the country. Texas, unranked. Texas is favored by 1.5 to 2.5 right now, thinking Mateer is playing. Although if Mateer is not playing, the spread will probably be around 5 or 6. Here's what I'll say about whether Mateer plays or not. People have been giving Michael Hawkins Jr. hell online, like saying he can't play. He had 4 starts in 2024, and he had a big road game at Auburn last year where he showed like some good things on film. I actually think Oklahoma has a chance to win this game if Michael Hawkins plays, and I don't think obviously the game script's going to have to be a lot different. It's not going to be Mateer ball, but this defense is good enough to overcome maybe worse quarterback play, and I think people will be pleasantly surprised with how good Michael Hawkins Jr. is if the game does come to that. I haven't made my pick on this game yet. I was kind of waiting to see like what you guys thought. I wanted to kind of feel out what people are saying about this, and I actually don't think I'll pick until obviously the like Mateer news comes out. I do just to have the full thing because Arch, this will probably be on the pick'em, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll throw it on there.
so I'll probably wait, but I am intrigued to see how Arch Manning responds, and this Oklahoma defense might be the best Texas has played so far. Well, okay, Ohio State, they've played some good defenses. They played Ohio State's defense, but they also played Florida's defense. But I think Oklahoma is a really good defense. They had 10 sacks against Auburn, so their front seven is really good. This is Brent Venables led. Texas has their hands full.
Yeah, I hate to correct you, Charlie, but the spread has now flipped recently. A couple hours ago, Oklahoma is now favored by
Really,
1.5. So it
really
appears,
baked in with Mateer
yeah,
playing.
On what?
yes, on ESPN and DraftKings.
Damn, line movement.
Mm.
No, I'm glad.
Well,
Good correction.
Texas is still favored on FanDuel, I believe.
Oh, really? Yeah, I just
Yeah.
looked ESPN.
ESPN bets always like we talked about when they were like a 10-point favorite against Georgia. Clemson was a 12-point favorite against Georgia Tech, and
They
then
just want to
every other
lose
book
money.
was like 3. Well, yeah.
I'm seeing
Yeah,
OU minus
inflation.
1.5 as well, Sam.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that being said, my pick does not change with or without Mateer. The first thing, it's really funny, actually. I don't know, you guys, I text this in the chat. The rest of the pod, I don't know if you guys were able to catch any of Brent Venables' his interviews the past week and a half. Started out with someone asking him about Mateer and what's up with him, how's his recovery going, and Venables was quick to say, "I don't even know if he's in the facility. I'm not a doctor. I don't know anything." Followed up by Oklahoma randomly moving their practice indoors yesterday. And when asked by a reporter why they moved the practice indoors and if they were hiding Mateer, Venables responded with, it was really warm outside and we wanted to go into our air conditioning practice facility. To which he was quickly fact checked, and it was around 88 degrees in Norman, Oklahoma at the time, which will be the temperature at kickoff in Dallas. So it seems
Sam,
like
one thing though, coaches do that a lot though to like preserve their players' legs. That's not the most insane
they
thing.
haven't practiced indoors all season. Up to this.
I understand. I understand they're hiding him, but I'm just saying like it is kind of a good law. It's not the worst like
No,
faking
no,
it.
I'm not like hating it. It's perfect gamesmanship and call it with no injury. Like perfect. Let him do that. But
Well, he's
like
got the injury
here's
report tonight. I don't know if he's on it though.
Famel came out today and said it appears that he's going to play.
I think he suits up. I mean, unless he's like Superman, I don't see it. He's questionable on the official SEC injury report, which is about as good as information as nothing.
So to that, I say this: is Mateer playing the best idea for Oklahoma? Like, is it such a great idea to rush him back for this game and risk what could be a season-ending injury with one bad hit? Like, unless this hand injury wasn't as bad as we thought and the surgery went like immaculately, I just find it insane that he's able to come back after 2 weeks of a hand surgery. Um, With that being said, assuming Mateer does play, it seems like Oklahoma has an advantage on both sides of the football. Their defense has played outstanding up to this point, and their offense has played very well with Mateer against great defense of Michigan and did well against Auburn. But it's Red River. This game is drunk always, no matter what. This feels like a desperation. It's not, it doesn't feel like this is a desperation game for Texas. It feels like we were waiting for this to happen with Florida, where they finally put all the pieces together and break through. I think that this is going to be the game that everything just kind of comes together for Texas, and they rise to the occasion. And Sark just dials up an epic game plan to combat Venables, who is going to be throwing the sink at Arch, especially with how that offensive line look. Their defensive line will be able to just tee off. But I just see this game being weird. A couple of maybe odd turnovers. Maybe Mateer comes down to earth a little bit, and we see some of his Washington State turnover type games. Um, but hook 'em, maybe. I'm taking Texas regardless of the spread and regardless if Mateer's in or not.
Yeah, I'm gonna back Sam. I don't think Mateer playing really matters in the outcome of this game. I think it's just wounded animal mode spot for Texas. They can't lose this game. They can't have three losses to have any type of hope for postseason. And I think everyone in that building still believes that they can find a way to get to that 10 win, that 9 win mark. And with the loss to Florida, I mean, this is just the perfect get right spot. Oklahoma has not, they haven't been able to run the ball at all year. So that's going to put pressure on the quarterback. And there's always a lot of pressure on the quarterback in that offense. And whether it's Mateer, who's coming off an injury and is no matter what is going to be a little limited or a little rusty going into this game, or it's Michael Hawkins, who is just a level below Mateer, they're going to be seriously impacted by their inability to run the ball. And I think Texas takes advantage of that. I don't definitely probably not going to be a high scoring game, but I just think Texas has to find a way, and that I'm banking on the pride of that program and Sark being as good of a coach as he is, that they're just able to find a way to win this one.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to go piggyback off you two. I think Texas wins this football game. I agree with all the things y'all are saying. I think one thing is Sark is definitely aware of what is being like. He's no stranger, and he's not going to. He sees what people are talking about with Arch Manning, like their offense. I think he's going to make a game script that's very Arch Manning friendly to start this game to settle him in and probably the biggest game he's going to be starting in. I mean, this atmosphere is always insane. Like Sam said, this game is always drunk. It's always the dumbest thing you've ever seen that happens on a football field. I think Sark leans into that, protects Arch Manning, and I think this is the time. I mean, there's no logic behind this, but I mean, after Arch Manning's gotten dogged and trashed he's basically taking the blame, like without actually being at fault. I think this is the game he shows out. And I think that Texas, this is the game it all comes together, like Sam said. And so give me the Longhorns.
All right. It's a Sooner
Make
pod.
a pick.
I mean, it's a Longhorn pod. Yeah, I'm going with Oklahoma. Yeah. I actually hope that that Arch plays really well, but I'm going with Oklahoma. I don't have a huge feel in this game, and since you three are going like this, I want for the pick 'em. It just mathematically makes sense for me to go
Herb
with
Street
Oklahoma.
method.
Yeah, Herbie method. So I'll save the graphic for you guys, even if I'm wrong. Um, so the next game we're going to get into is my favorite game of the week, which is number 7 Indiana traveling to Eugene, Oregon to play the third ranked Ducks. The Ducks are a touchdown favorite in this game. You've got Mendoza versus Moore. Two quarterbacks, maybe some of the best that college football has to offer. Two ascending head coaches that are different in mannerisms, but the same in the way they can get their group to play well in big games. They're very unapologetic about what they believe in and how they feel about the game of football. So you got two coaches that are different in how they do things, but similar in just their football isms. So we've got Siggs versus Dan Lanning. The big question here is Indiana a for real football team? Like a national contender type of football team? Because if you win this game, the the wagons are unhitched and you're gonna need a bigger wagon because the bandwagon is coming. And while Oregon, I do think has more weapons, they've got that Sadiq kid, number 18. They've got DeCorian Moore. They've got a stable of backs that I like. And they probably have a better offensive line. Um, I do think that
Yes.
yeah, I do think that Indiana's advantage in this game is they have the best receiver in the game, and they have Elijah Surratt on their team, number 13 for Indiana. I believe he's the best receiver in this game, and I am. Is this going to be on the pick 'em?
I mean, I'd put it on there.
Okay.
Maybe I want.
Yeah, it's although it is a 7.5 point favorite game, I am gonna have to choose Oregon. But I love Sig in this spot, and it's really hard to pick against Sigs, um, especially since I play for his brother. So yeah, I'm a believer in the Signetti family coaching tree. So um, not all that cogent analysis, but this is gonna be a really fun game. What do you guys say about this game?
Yeah, another opportunity for Indiana to step up to the big leagues, prove that they don't just beat up on bad teams and they don't have a chance when they play against the big dogs like Oregon. However, I think they're at a severe just talent overall disadvantage in this one. Both teams coming off a bye, so no real advantage in that aspect, but IU does have to travel to Oregon. Iowa was able to seriously limit the rushing attack of Indiana too in their game 2 weeks ago. And with how well Oregon was able to bottle up Penn State, probably similar theme should be present here. Just thinking that the Oregon defense is better than Iowa's. And you mentioned before, fun QB matchup, Dante Moore and Fernando Mendoza. I love watching this Oregon O-line. Might be my favorite offensive line in the country, led by their tackle duo, Isaiah World and Alex Harkey. And they also have some monsters up front on their D line, USC transfer Bear Alexander and DJU's brother, Mateo Oyungalele. Guy is a freak. And I just think Dan Lanning, for me, he's the third best coach in college football right now. And he loves to flex his muscles against teams like Indiana, especially a coach like Sig, who's not afraid to be bold and outspoken in the media. Dan Lanning always seems to like to run it up on coaches like that. And I don't know. I haven't seen any pregame stuff where Sig's added fuel to the fire yet, but I just think Oregon physically dominates here, and I don't think it's going to be close. I'll take Oregon, and I'd take them to cover the 7.5.
Yeah, Sig was kind of quiet in his pregame. All respect to Dan Lanning in Oregon. So smart move by him. But I mean, it seems like this could be almost a Heisman playing game between Moore and Mendoza. Should be
Mm.
an epic QB duel, and I just hope for Mendoza's sake that that is not that his play isn't deterred by just Oregon's significant trench advantage, which I am worried about. Um, but then again, just to play like the other side of the coin here for Oregon, let's travel back to the third quarter of that Penn State game when Oregon fumbles on the goal line. Penn State recovers, brings it back. Seems like this game's finally going to turn. And then Oregon's player knee just scrapes the grass. Just lawn, whoever cuts the lawn at Beaver Stadium should probably be fired. Um, Oregon then scores the next play. That scrape of the grass doesn't happen. We might be singing a different tune about Oregon, um, but not to take that away from the rust that they have. I think Indiana again has to have something magical happen, a big splash play. Are they going to be able to pick off Dante Moore at some point? So I throw in one interception. He's done a really good job of taking care of the ball up to this point. But what I do like about Indiana is they were able to score a lot against Illinois, but also win in that slugfest type of game against Iowa. I expect this game to go two ways, either just a dogfight, 3 point back and forth, or Oregon just like 56 nothing, just not 56, just a blowout like that Colorado type game. But I just think that Dan Lanning gets his guys going. The trenches advantage is going to pay dividends. This could be one of those Michigan, Nebraska games where it might be close at half, but Oregon's just like, let's just keep padding. Let's just keep padding. So I'll take Oregon to win this one. But I'm really excited. I think this is going to be an awesome game.
Yeah, I think this one has shootout potential for me. I think both of these offenses are really efficient. I think both quarterbacks are gamers, really dynamic throwers of football. I guess this is going to be the probably the most casual thing anybody says about this game, just from like looking at this year. I am not convinced that these rosters and the talent is that much of a disparity to justify like for this game an 7.5 or 8 point spread. I think Indiana's defensive line is legit. Like they are very good. I think Oregon's offensive line is obviously better than Indiana's. I think their weapons. Oregon is probably deeper. Like Chuck said, Surratt is a gamer. He was he was really good in that Notre Dame game last year. He was about the only thing for Indiana that showed up in that playoff game. I like Mendoza. I was a big fan of him when he transferred out of Cal. And I'm infatuated with Sig. Obviously, last year I was not the biggest Indiana guy. I have him in my playoff this year, and I do not have Oregon in it. So you got to say that this game has to be won by Indiana. So I'm going to be taking the Hoosiers.
Welcome through the
And now that I
filter.
say that, yeah, and now that I say that, they will probably be getting beat by 40, but I will ride with the Hoosiers.
I'm taking the Hoosiers too. I'm taking the Hoosiers.
Good.
Switch my pick. Switch it.
Good.
That's who I want to take. That's who I'm taking. I'm not going to be a pansy. I want to cheer for the Hoosiers in this game. So yeah, I'm
This
taking the
could also
Hoosiers.
remember how we were talking the other day about like is Indiana in that echelon of the high level Big Ten? Like this could be their coming onto the scene game.
Real quick, Sam, did you have Bama or Mizzou?
Bama.
Bama. Okay. Filling out the spreadsheet for us.
All right, fellas, let's keep rolling along merrily. We'll go into another. We'll go. So Eugene is obviously in Oregon. We're gonna drive our bus south to Los Angeles, California, where the Trojans will be taking on Michigan. Number 15, Michigan goes to unranked USC. USC is a 2.5 point favorite when I made my Google Doc. Sam, is that still correct?
I believe so.
Okay. This is my question for the game. The question that every Lincoln Riley team that is ever real has to answer. Are you able to hold up physically against this Michigan front? To me, they are going to have to show me for me to believe that. Again, they have my favorite receiver in college football, Makai Lemon. I love that kid. They also have great catch, Bohm. They also have
Oh, sick.
I just
Oh.
what's his name? Our other receiver, USC. I'm blanking.
No.
J number 8. Come on, guys.
Oh God. I know who you're talking about, but I'm forgetting his name.
I know. I don't know why.
Is it Hudson?
No, he went to
Oh,
It's Jacoby.
it's Jacoby Lane.
Jacoby Lane.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Jacoby
Hudson
Lane.
transferred to Penn
Yeah.
State, and that was a
Again,
corpse.
yeah, exactly. Jacoby Lane, Makai Lemon, Maeva, who Lincoln Riley seems to really like Maeva and how he operates the offense. But Michigan's going into town. Michigan's going to run the ball. Duska, they're kind of your darling. The Michigan Wolverines, you've been propping them up all year. I think Lincoln Riley might make a statement win here. I got USC. I think they learned from their mistakes in Illinois. I think Michigan's probably a better version of what Illinois is, but they're at home. Lincoln Riley, get the guys ready to go. Get the guys ready to go. And Michigan does not have a Big Ten loss, so this wouldn't kill them either to lose this game. So I think the USC is more in wounded animal mode because this will kind of take them out of contention if they lose this football game.
Yeah, huge implications for Big Ten playoff contention, like you were saying. USC has Notre Dame and Oregon on their schedule too, so basically a must win for them. The fate of Michigan season 2 is probably decided within these next couple weeks too. It starts with this game at USC on Saturday, and then they get the Huskies in the Big House the following week. So their defenses look really solid all year, and I think they're going to make things a little more difficult on Maava by containing the USC rushing attack a little better than Illinois was able to. And they've shown the ability to run the ball against stout fronts like Oklahoma already, and they always seem to be able to crack a big one when they need to. Bryce Underwood, fun to watch him develop as the season goes on. I think he is getting better week to week. And it's going to be fun to see him in another high leverage game, see if that passing attack is developed a little bit more. USC is coming off a bye. They get the Wolverines at home, but I just don't think their defense will be able to match the physicality of the Michigan front, and could easily see Justice Haynes running all over the Trojans defense. So most must-have game for both teams, in my opinion. But Michigan, like you were saying, they're my darling. I have them in the playoff this year. Been carrying water all year, and I got to keep doing it for this one. So I'll take the Wolves outright.
Because I picked USC, I'm just gonna the reason I think they might be able to hold up better in this run game is I don't think, and Arch has talked about this, I don't think Michigan has the weapons to go beat man coverage consistently. And I do think they're going to be able to load the box a little bit more. Like their safeties are going to be able to creep down. And again, I think Michigan's going to run the football effectively, but you can't get gashed for 250. You need to hold, it needs to be 175, not 250. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for, is that like the Bryce Underwood, although he's really good, the DBs of USC hold up just enough to where if Michigan scores 24, so be it. Like we could score 30. So that's
Just
kind of the game script I'm praying for.
quick counter to that. I think that Michigan found a little bit more. I mean, obviously, when the quarterback's running the ball, you add an extra hat in the run game. That's a
Yep.
huge factor. I think in the Nebraska game, Michigan found a little bit more Bryce Underwood called runs. He's a little more running back-esque in that one. So
Yeah.
stack the box, but they also have the ability, and they've had the ability to do this when Orgy was there too. Stack the box, you get to add the extra hat though with Bryce Underwood running the ball. So just a little counter they
but
can
my
add.
thing, which like I see your point, but I raise you that like Luke Altmaier in Illinois, like they threw for over 300 yards. Like the problem wasn't as much they had timely runs, but it wasn't like they were just running the piss out of the football. What they were doing was they were running the ball enough to where like the defensive play calls had to try to stop the run, because like on 3rd and 4 they were running the ball, getting the first down, right? And so as the defense kind of shrunk in to stop the run, they were super explosive. Like Luke Altmaier tore them to shreds, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but like I think Illinois' receiving core in quarterback play is better than what Michigan's gonna is gonna
That's
be
not
competing with.
unfair.
So I guess that's kind of like my point is I still think even if you have quarterback run and running backs run, so if even if you have 2 running back runs going on, can you throw the ball effectively for like 8 yards of completion? And like we'll see. But again, I think Michigan's really good. So
Yeah, this is a huge game for that 3rd to 4th Big Ten playoff spot. Pretty funny that Michigan USC is now a conference game. This is the game that 50-year-old plus Americans just love. 2 big famous brands. The Michigan conglomerate will travel very well in this game. So I don't expect, not that it would really be a factor at USC, but I don't expect the crowd to really take much of an effect on this game. but this common theme of this cross country travel being an issue for some of these northern teams so far this season, except for Oregon and Penn State, obviously. Another thing, like I think we could be in for a sneaky shootout in this game too. Um, that being said, if the game script goes that way, which I believe that it might, I think that USC's passing attack is going to be a little bit too much in the end for Michigan, even though they might have an advantage at the line of scrimmage. I just think that I'm going to go with the better quarterback in this one, not get too fancy. I'm going to take USC at home favored. I just think that they have a little bit more skill at skill positions, which is going to be the difference.
Lincoln Riley also desperately needs a big win, like desperately. Like we're
Also,
waiting
another
for it.
thing here too, this is a huge game for Sharon Moore because there is that like, oh, did they play better with what's his name?
Biff
And
Poggi.
does he
Biff
let
Poggi.
Underwood? Yeah, they let Underwood rip it a little bit more with him. And then what if they go out and they lay a dud here? Michigan gets back to this 8-4, 7-5. Big game for Sharon Moore too. This is a humongous game.
It's hard for me to believe that Sharon Moore didn't have his hands in the offensive game plan for the weeks that Biff was the head coach, though. You know
No,
what I'm
I agree.
saying? Yeah.
I think one of the weeks he wasn't allowed in the facility, right? Or am I
Yeah,
making that
wasn't
up?
that when
No,
they played?
yeah, 2 weeks.
And he wasn't allowed in the facility at all. I mean, he was probably. I mean, Michigan's cheaters. They're probably Zoom calling him in every day. But
Why would you not? How is the
Yeah.
NCAA going to enforce that?
Yeah. I mean, the PDF, like I'm sure he sent some nice PDFs via email, making
I'm
sure
just saying,
Biff
if
had it.
there like if you read Michigan things, there is talks like, oh, was Sharon Moore the right person to promote? That's why I'm just saying it's a huge
Yeah,
game for
big
both of them.
game for him. Big
Big
coaching
game for
game.
him and Lincoln Riley.
Mhm.
Not that he's on a hot seat or anything, just to
No,
kind of prove like, all right,
Yeah.
I'm the guy.
Yeah.
We can make the playoffs with this team, with me at the helm. Let's see what happens.
I'm a believer in Sharon Moore too because I'm a big fan of offensive line coaches that become head coaches. So that's another
Cristobal.
reason I love this Michigan team. Yeah, Cristobal, Sharon, like, and the identities of these teams are always so fun too. They're just so
Yeah.
physical. Like,
yeah, I think, like Sam said, I think it's going to be a shootout. I genuinely have zero idea who is going to win this game or how like the game script goes. I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of points because I don't think Michigan's defense is as strong as years past, but I think their run game is one of the best in the country with Justice Haynes. I mean, he's a playmaker. I mean, he has
Bell
like the
cow.
most 75. Yeah, he has the most 75-yard touchdown runs I've ever seen. Like at the very start of the drive. But if I had to pick, I think USC's receivers are going to dominate when they're needed. And last year, Michigan did beat USC, and it was like that weird game where
Mhm.
it was like USC was on fire. Michigan is just coming off looking like crap versus Texas and all that. I think USC gets back this year, and I think Lincoln Riley and the Trojans get it done. So I'm going to take them.
Notre Dame's also got to be rooting for USC in this one too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Next game, Georgia, number 10 Georgia goes to Jordan-Hare Stadium to play the Auburn Tigers. Georgia is a 3.5-point favorite. Last time I checked, the only thing I have written down in my game notes is I have immense faith in Georgia. I think they win. I think they cover. Give me the dogs. They're my national championship pick, so I really need this game as well. But yeah, I have immense faith in Kirby Smart going into Auburn. Jackson Arnold does not scare me, and that's pretty much what I've got. Arch.
This game is terrifying. Close spread,
Ooh.
Auburn night game. The last kind of big atmosphere Auburn game like this was 2017, whenever Georgia made it to the national championship, but we got pantsed here by Jarrett Stidham in Auburn. Cam Newton is getting his jersey retired pregame, so if any more fuel to the fire of how awful this atmosphere is going to be for Georgia. But none of that matters because Jackson Arnold cannot throw the forward pass, and which is Georgia's weakness. We can stop the run. He's also a traffic cone in the pocket somehow. while also just running all the time. We're going to get some stacks. We're going to get pressure. Our receivers are going to come to play. We're going to be able to do anything we want to on offense. And Noah Thomas, the Texas A&M transfer, really hasn't broke out. Last year against Auburn, he had like 200 yards and 3 touchdowns when Texas A&M lost in like triple overtime. Hasn't broken out yet. My prediction, he breaks out for at least 100 and a touchdown, and the Dogs walk out of Jordan-Hare with a win.
Finally a get right spot for this Georgia pass rush. I watched the Auburn and Texas A&M game, and just absolutely putrid pass protection and then pocket presence by Jackson Arnold. So if there were ever a spot for this Georgia defensive line who has struggled to generate pressure all year to get right, it's certainly in this game, and going to be indicative probably of how the rest of the season goes as far as generating pressure if they're not able to do it in this one. But I have faith in the Dogs to be able to put Jackson Arnold under duress and then have their way with them on offense. So I think easy win for the Dogs.
Okay. Well, it's going to be an orange out in Auburn, just so you guys,
That
the
doesn't
pod is
move. That
aware.
doesn't move me.
I know. But it just seems like crazy things happen here in the Plains. And I think that Auburn's defense is getting slightly underrated. They did a good job of keeping A&M in check for the most part, who lit up Notre Dame and lit up Mississippi State in the second half of that game. They battled it out against Oklahoma in a game that they arguably could have won, should have won, had a couple calls gone a different way. The spread is really scary, and I wonder, like, what if Georgia can't get home and he has clean pockets and his D line doesn't step up? And what if they're able to lean a little bit and establish a quarterback run game? I just think that this is one of those weird SEC at night. I'm gonna be taking Auburn here with not much analysis other than small spread. I don't have as much faith in Georgia's D line to get it done. I think Auburn's defense is really underrated, and they have some weapons at receiver to where, like, if they can get this game opened up a little bit and hit on a couple deep balls, just control clock. If they can't get a pass rush, then I'm going to take Auburn here.
Arch, I saw a video of it was a Georgia. I think he's like number 28 on Georgia. Is that like an edge?
Christopher or something. Yeah, he was
Yeah,
playing
but
with,
it was like a few clips of him rushing the quarterback, and the tweet was basically like, this guy is like the only one that consistently can win in pass rush situations. Like he needs way more snaps.
Yeah, that tweet was from I believe it was from Davin Bellamy, who's an old Georgia player. He played on the Rose Bowl and national championship
Okay.
team. So yeah, no, I did see that. He was actually rushing with a plan, which Georgia honestly hasn't done this year. I think what's going to help him in this game is I think that Kirby knows that if you start slow here, like it's Tennessee, if you start slow to 3:30 game, like you think that you have like the ability to come back. Obviously, you did. You were down 21-7. I think here there's such a heightened sense of urgency that if you go down like 1 or 2 scores and let Auburn's defense pin their ears back, it's fucking over for you. So I think that Glenn Schumann, our defensive coordinator, who hasn't been shit since Dan Lanning left, will actually bring some pressure to start a football game and not let Jackson Arnold get comfortable like he did with Ty Simpson. So I think we're going to feast there. But that's just hopefulness and optimism.
Very nice. Do you guys want to do another SEC game, or you want to hit a little G5 ball?
We can do some G5.
Let's do some G5 ball. Oh, what?
I said we can do whatever.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go G5 ball here. We've got a Friday night game. We've got number 24, South Florida, going to North Texas. Perry's cousin is a softball player for the University of North Texas. So friend of the program. North Texas is also a 1.5-point favorite, but I want to give the audience a little history lesson about North Texas, specifically Coach Eric Morris. So Eric Morris is a coach. He got hired from Washington State, and he was also at Texas Tech, and he was at Incarnate Word. The quarterbacks he has coached have been Cam Ward, John Mateer. Cam Ward, he coached at Incarnate Word and brought him to Wazoo. He coached John Mateer at Wazoo, and he was the offensive coordinator at Texas Tech when Pat Mahomes was there. So he's got a really good track record with quarterbacks. North Texas's quarterback was a former walk-on, Drew Mestemaker. He started 0 varsity games in high school football playing in Texas, which just shows you how good Texas high school football is. He's 69% completion percentage. He's thrown for over 1,200 yards. He has 11 touchdowns and no interceptions. That just kind of gives you that's why North Texas is favored. This is a real football team. And they're going against a Byron Brown reliant squad, which is USF. Alex Golesh, great coach. Obviously, they've had some really nice wins. Obviously, that Florida win was sick for USF, but Byron Brown leads the team in rushing as well as passing. So it's kind of like the John Mateer Oklahoma thing, where you're not getting as the production you would like from your backs. But also it's that teams can operate like that. It's not the worst thing to operate with a running quarterback, or a guy that can do both. So I actually think North Texas gets it done here. What say you guys?
Yeah, I feel like most of the pod is pretty aware of USF because we've covered them a good amount. And I don't think the country is necessarily ready for the blackout in UNT.
See,
In what is
that
arguably
I am moved by.
in what is arguably the biggest game in school history. And I don't know if you guys on the podcast is aware, but UNT has some snazzy chrome black lids that they're going to be wearing that look sweet under the lights with some all black uniforms. So just a great look on the field. But to actually get into a little bit about UNT, they are the number 11 scoring offense in college football, backed by a true two-headed monster in the backfield, Mackenzie McGill and Caleb Hawkins. They have 625 combined rushing yards between the two. One has 307, one 315, two-headed monster. USF won't be able to stop it. This is going to be a G5 war, maybe a playoff playing game, a massive, massive, massive game. But Byron Brown is so good. USF has the big win against Florida. They've played amazing Power 5 teams. Doesn't matter. We'll support the family. Shout out Addie. Give me the mean green to pull it out and be on the fast track for the playoff spot.
Still, they play Navy, of course, but that's down the road.
Yeah. So I think North Texas is obviously legit. The Mestemaker story is awesome. He actually beat out somebody that they thought was going to be the actual starter, and this walk-on that played their bowl game last year just kept balling out in camp and spring ball. Awesome. But good stories don't win you games. And I'm going to go with USF here. I think it's kind of funny. Alex Golesh, offensive style coach. He's from like the high pool scheme. But I think the strength of USF is their defense. Their havoc rate and their trenches on defense, their havoc rate. I really like their outside linebacker, Jalen Schuler. I mean, from game one, you saw them forcing turnovers and winning games against Boise State because their offense did not look great in that game. I think USF defense travels, and I think that their defense will travel to Denton, Texas on Friday night. And probably my favorite G5 game of this year. I mean, these are two legit teams. Like these aren't just like these are legit teams. You saw USF beat Florida. And I think either of these teams are really good, but I think I'm just going to go with USF because I think their defense travels and Byron Brown makes some Heisman level plays.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of cogent analysis. You guys covered the game pretty well, but this has been a certified Byron Brown podcast since day one. Thanks, Arch. So I'll just back USF in this one, back Arch. And yeah, big win for Alex Golesh and co.
All right, we'll move right along merrily to a game that I am excited for, the Pac-12 at night game. We've got number 21 Arizona State going to Utah. Where is that? What's that city called? Is it Salt Lake?
Salt Lake
Yeah.
City.
Yeah, it's in Salt Lake. Okay, going to Salt Lake City, where the Utah Utes are a 5.5-point favorite. To me, this is a Devin Dampier prove it spot. ASU boasts a stout run game, giving up just 2.6 yards per carry, second in the Big 12. And I don't foresee Dampier being able to running back his way through this game. But lucky for him, Utah has the number one rush offense in the Big 12. So the backs and O-line, I think they'll be able to help the Utes stay ahead of the sticks. I have Utah in my playoff, although I think Dampier, it's a proven spot. He's got to be able to throw the rock in this game. I have Utah in my playoff, and although it's really hard to pick against ASU and the veteran Sam Levitt and Jordan Tyson, who we've mentioned on this podcast many a times, I see Utah getting a huge win at home, and both these teams are coming off a bye, and Arizona State has zero wiggle room. I mean, they have wiggle room with zero Big 12 losses, and Utah has one loss to Texas Tech already. So they need this game like they need oxygen. They're off a bye. It's at home, night atmosphere. Last time it was a 10 a.m. atmosphere. Now we get the 10 p.m. atmosphere. So I'm excited for the Utah Utes. I'm going to back them in this game. What say you guys?
I'll go.
Anybody. Yeah, anybody.
I'll go. I'm going to be taking Utah here. No surprise, no secret. I don't know if you've been looking at the forecast. Apparently it's going to be a rainy night in Salt
Ooh,
Lake City. And I think that
not
bodes well for
not good
Utah
for
because
the Devin Dampier throwing thing.
yeah, I think it bodes well for Utah's rushing attack though, because if you're able to lean into that and not have the great value Travis Hunter, that number 23, the slot and the slot corner and the receiver, the less he's on the field, the probably the better. I like Utah in this spot. Rice Eccles Stadium, night atmosphere is going to be rocking no matter the weather. And I think that Utah is going to be able to hit some explosives, and I really like their defense. I think if Texas Tech's receivers weren't just freaks of nature multiple times that game, score probably looks a little different, but that's 3 weeks ago. And I think this is a perfect prove it spot, like Chuck said, for Utah. If you want Kyle Whittingham's last season to be worth anything, you get this done no matter what the spread is. You get out with the win. Give me the Utes.
Yeah, I think you can add this to the list of weird spreads this week. Kind of a lot of points for Utah. But I will say, I feel like that Texas Tech game could be a turning point in their season. And with the rain and the night atmosphere of Utah, I'm going to take them to get it done here. I have not really been that impressed by Arizona State all that much so far. Kind of squeaked it out against TCU and Baylor. If they could easily be 1-3 right now. So they're not. And I'm going to take Utah.
Yeah, hard for me to get a feel for this one. Utah looked really bad in their game against Texas Tech, obviously. And that kind of soured me on them a little bit because I was super impressed with their level of physicality for the first few games they had prior to that. But I guess that was a little overrated coming off the back of the Texas Tech game. I like Arizona State's trenches. I don't think you typically expect them to feature or be that stout up front, but I've been impressed by them all year. One of my favorite tackles in college football plays for Arizona State, and I picked them to win the Big 12 in the preseason. I think it's going to be a good game. Should be close, fun, physical game. I think Arizona State has also showed the ability to win games in multiple ways this year. Big comeback versus Mississippi State. Obviously, they ended up losing that game, but their ability to run the ball in that one really impressed me. And then the Baylor game, I think Sam Levitt was able to. It was Baylor TCU. Sam Levitt was able to take over a little bit more and flash his potential. So
Both.
just, yeah, both games. Impressed with his ability or impressed with their ability to win in whatever situation they need to. And I think they just find a way to do that in this one. I'm going to back my Big 12 champ preseason and take Arizona State.
Nice. Very nice. Next game. So we got to do two more games plus the Superdog. So, we can buzz through these. So, next game we got Florida going to number 5 Texas A&M, 7.5 point spread. Last time I checked. All I have written down here is dangerous. This is a dangerous, dangerous spot. Can Lagway and company keep Napier's job alive? Like Billy Napier, the Florida Gators, when Napier is about to get fired, way different team than when he's not about to get fired and when they're comfortable. So, I think they just anytime you get the Florida Gators in wounded animal mode, they're a dangerous team. Although Mike Elko and Texas A&M, like they think they're for real. They think they should be in the national championship conversation, and um, I believe them with Marcel Reed, Mario Craver, and Casey Concepcion kind of at the helm with Elko leading that defense. It's an improved defense from last year. So I still think there's ways that Florida can. This is not going to be on the pick'em, right? I'm picking Florida. I think Florida wins this game. I believe in DJ Lagway, like I said. Um, I believe in in the Gators when Billy Napier's job's on the line. So I'm gonna keep riding the Gators because I do think this is not a team that is 2-3. I do think this team. I mean, it is a team that's 2-3, but I think they're better than that. Especially off this bye, I think they got Jaden Ball going. They got that freshman receiver Dallas, kind of in the works. So. Already got Eugene Wilson the third and a good defense. So give me them. Give me them.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, this is a
oh,
big.
yeah, go
Go
ahead,
ahead,
Sam.
Jessica. I
Okay.
know you
I
got
was
it.
just gonna say, I'll be quick. It's hard to envision Florida winning this game for some reason. I know they ran the ball a lot more effectively against Texas, and they could continue that here. Dallas Wilson added a huge edge to the offense, like we talked about before. But I just need to see the offense put it together back-to-back performances before I'm confident that they'll be able to replicate anything they did in the Texas game. A&M will be able to put Lagway under a bit more pressure than Texas was able to last week. And that's where things can start to fall apart for this Florida team. You've seen that in games they played previously. See LSU, 5 interceptions. It's hard to forget that. Watch out for Cassius Howe off the edge for Texas A&M. He's an absolute monster. He had 3 sacks last week against Mississippi State. And see if they're not able to generate any turnovers from pressures that he puts on DJ Lagway in this game. This Texas A&M team seems elite to me. I think the level of physicality they'll play with compared to Texas will be a step above Texas, and they need to have huge performances in games like this to actually prove that they deserve the consideration of an elite team. I also want to predict that Kyle Schwarber is about to end Clayton Kershaw's Dodger career with a big boom right here.
I have a question.
But
I have a question. I have a question. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Jessica. I did not know Kershaw came out of the pen nowadays.
well, they did that for the playoffs because they already have a three. Like
Yeah.
usually carry a 3-man rotation in the playoffs, and he's
So they
not in
moved
it.
him to the pen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He was in the All-Star game. That's crazy.
that
Was
was
that was
charity.
that charity? Yeah.
It was sympathy.
Yeah,
Okay.
they
Okay.
do like the NBA does, or I think it's the NBA. They do like the commissioner selection, so like
Gotcha.
they can just toss you in the All Star game
So
if
he was like
they
their
think
four
it's
or
gonna be your
five all
last
year.
year. Yeah, I mean he's still good, but
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
yeah,
He's on the pen now. All right,
yeah. But
next.
I'll take Texas A&M.
Get back to the football. All right.
Yeah, night game at Kyle Field's going to be tough for Florida. A&M is going to be sporting some pretty sweet new Adidas throwback uniforms. Not sure if you guys saw. They were a little toss back to the Clover looking Adidas logo. But I'm going to kind of stick with the SEC afternoon theme, which is going to be the day of the dogs. Um, A&M kind of had a slow start against Mississippi State in that first half. Um, did they play that well against Auburn? I know people were impressed that they were able to win the slugfest, but I turned that back around. Like, can Florida turn this into a 17-13, 20-15 type of game? I think they do. And I think Florida is just kind of like an ex-girlfriend. Like, sometimes they're great, sometimes they're really bad, but like you just can't stop going back to them. I will be going right back to the well as Florida chomps their way out of Kyle Field with a nice 7.5 point cover.
Great analogy, Sam, because you have literally picked Florida in every game preview. I think you have. Yeah. And at some point, it's got to be right, right?
Yeah, you just
Well, he
keep
was
going
already
back.
right. He was already right last week.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You keep going back. So you got Arch.
Yeah. Keep it short. I'm taking Florida. When there's a will, there's a way.
Dude, I love it.
We should put it on the pick 'em then. If I'm the only one taking A&M.
No, we only take 4 games.
Well, yeah, unless you want the editor to have to do another sheeted
No. What else do we have on there?
USF, North Texas, Bama, Mizzou, Oklahoma, Texas, Indiana, Oregon.
I like this
Okay,
four.
I like that for yeah.
Yeah.
I should get a
We'll
bonus
just clip
point
it
though
when we'll just clip it
if
when you're
A&M
wrong.
wins.
Yeah.
Okay. Our editor will clip it and play it on the
Yeah.
show next week.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. We just check the reels. All right, last game. I kind of threw this on like a little bit pity, but I still believe in the Cox. South Carolina travels to Baton Rouge, number 11 LSU, 9.5 point favorite. Sam, do the Cox have life?
Yeah, I don't agree with the pity take because, well, first of all, this game being on prime time with a lot of the country watching is going to set offensive football play backwards decades. Um, but Arch and I were there last year, boots on the ground, as an officiating disaster class unfolded in front of our eyes, and a wide left kick from the
Do you
leg of
believe?
Alex
Do you believe?
Herrera broke the hearts of Gamecock faith. But it seems like Nuss is going to start Saturday, even though he didn't practice much last week, not at all. And it seems like LSU's been being weird about this back injury and blah blah blah. But I was very impressed with South Carolina's defense last week. Granted, it was Kentucky, but it kind of felt like the defense got their swagger back. Dylan Stewart got in there, pass rush teed off a lot in that game. I think they had 6 sacks and 2 defensive touchdowns. South Carolina kind of reminds me of the Steelers in that like their offense is just going to middle their way along, and they're just waiting on defense or special teams to make this epic splash play to flip the game. And now, obviously, that is not a sustainable way to win games. But where I actually think that this game is going to be a lot closer than people think is weakness versus weakness. South Carolina has really struggled to stop the run. LSU has really struggled to run. I think those are going to be able to wash. And then I look at the quarterback
Something's got to
position.
break.
Something's got to break. Then go to the quarterback position. I think SC secondary is going to really step up in this game. They were supposed to be the most talented group of this defense going into the year. I think that this is going to be their coming out moment. I think that Beamer's going to have these guys going off the bye. He's going to have them fired up for this stretch that they have. It is Cocktober. I think SC is going to come up with a sick offensive game plan, revenge on their mind. I just think that this is actually going to be a much closer game than people are expecting. And I think that South Carolina gets it done in Baton Rouge. Like I legitimately think that they're going to win this game. Like not me being a homer, like I think they would win this game.
I'm with you, Sam. I'm with you, Sam. I think the way Brian Kelly treats other human beings, especially in the media, for asking like very reasonable questions that are like obvious problems to the team, um, and the way he treats those people, and the kid he killed uh, on the film truck, like all of these factors, like I really want to see the Cox like go into Baton Rouge and get this win. So, yeah, again. I believe
I think
Illinois
this is a more favorable matchup for South Carolina than the Missouri game was. And South Carolina kind of held their own.
1000%, 1000%. And
Like I absolutely see a world where they come out of this game to win.
yeah, and yeah, I'd like to see LSU. Yeah, we haven't really seen LSU play all that good of football at any point this year because that Clemson game was that really good football?
Oh.
No. Uh, Anybody else have any thoughts on this game?
Go Cox.
Give me the Gamecocks. Yeah.
All
This
right.
is a This is a Gamecocks podcast.
Yeah.
For the most
October.
part. Yeah. Only the best survive.
Okay. We've hit the part of the podcast where
Well, I just want to predict OSU at Illinois real quick.
oh yes.
Yeah,
I forgot that. I
just
put that
a
in there.
Buck smash bot.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's all I had to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless you guys feel differently.
I mean, the only hope Illinois has is Luke Altmaier plays out of this world. They get Eakin like that big back going, and Julian
They
saying
can't run the
all
ball. They're like
over.
100th in rushing
That's
offense.
what I'm saying. I don't believe. Obviously, I don't believe in them, but that's the only way this game. I think the Bucks are too good, far too good.
Splattering inbound.
Illinois' offense gets put in the crucible.
That's good.
Yeah. Oh,
Magic Johnson post up.
dude, we
Hey,
suck. Did you guys see what just happened?
yeah, I did see that. Dude,
Wild
yeah.
pitch and Kyle Schwarber gets thrown out.
Did you see my chat?
No, sorry, my phone's covering the chat.
NAF moment.
Yeah,
Dude,
literally.
such a naff. He looked so unathletic. Like that was sad. I was like,
I
are
mean,
you
dude, he's just like stocky and hits
dude,
fucking bombs.
he
He
literally
doesn't belong on base.
no.
Dude, did the
He,
Yankees get eliminated?
yeah.
Yeah, they lost.
That's funny. Good to see.
Uh
Couldn't have happened to a better team.
Do you see that? Who's that guy in the stands that does like the roll call? You know who? Have you ever seen that
Yeah.
guy on like Twitter where he like
Aaron,
clap? Yeah, and he has like
Go, Aaron.
he looks like a guy that somebody like could draw in like a cartoon. Yeah, yeah, that guy just makes me. And I don't even like really follow baseball. I hate that dude though.
fellas, quickly so we can end up watching the end of this game. Uh Super Dogs this week. Let's hear him. Duska, you're in my top left corner. You got yours or no? You've decided.
you guys go first.
Okay, Arch, you go.
God,
Oh, Arch, don't even do this. I see it.
I mean, we're taking Boston College. Honey, look away. Kids, cover your eyes. This one's gonna be disgusting.
Who do they
Either
play?
they win outright or they lose by like 40. I don't
Who
think
do
there's
they?
in
Who do
between.
they?
I might as well not even take the plus 14.
Who's BC play?
Clemson
Oh, here we
at
go.
in Chestnut Hill. This game a few weeks like if both teams weren't like really bad, this game would actually be awesome. But both teams suck, so it's gonna suck. It'll be on my second screen though when I'm watching the Georgia game.
Oh goodness. Perry.
Enter Darude.
If they win, Lenore Sellers is gonna have to be RB of the week.
Have to.
Cooper will be here. We'll go to LSU bar, so I'm excited.
Nice, nice. I wanted to shed light on something that happened so DJ Elliott is the defensive coordinator for NC State, and I actually met him in Kentucky. His son is one of my brother's friend and is in uh Sig Chill at Kentucky. So I met DJ Elliott and DJ Elliott's daughter, the defensive coordinator of NC State. His daughter died really tragically to I believe cancer. It's been like a real tough time for obviously everybody like in that around that program and like that's horrible. Prayers up for DJ Elliott and his family. Um, and I'm taking they played Notre Dame as a plus 22.5 point spread. I'm gonna be rooting for NC State like the rest of the way. He's a really good human, like great family, like his son's a good kid. So this is an emotional play, but yeah, I'm going with I'm all in on NC State the rest of the year. I want to see them do well. I want to see them kind of step up for their coach because uh, really tough situation. So NC State plus 22.5.
All right, I'll round us off. Sam got me pretty fired up about Pitt, Florida State earlier, so I'll ride the Panthers. They're plus 10.5 in Doak Campbell, Tallahassee, Florida this weekend. But we'll see what happens. I'll take the Panthers.
Sam, announce it. Announce what you just said.
Oh yeah, so it appears that Belichick's buyout will be $1 million from UNC if he is able to find another job with a team or in the media.
Yeah. Or
Dude,
I remember people talking about that buyout when he first signed the contract. They're like, it's weird that like once a certain date passes, he can just be bought out for $1 million if he finds
yeah.
another job.
Also, UNC's trying to get it down. UNC self-reported NCAA recruiting violations.
I saw
So
that.
they're trying to find for
That's
cause or
insane.
show cause stuff to lower his buyout to a certain point. And Belichick like literally wants to leave, which is just horrendous for all these players that came back. And I see these people like these players got screwed out of their last year, all that stuff. If you committed to Bill Belichick in North Carolina, that is your own damn fault. I'm sorry. What like I don't maybe that's me like being too harsh, but that's your like if you didn't see this coming from a mile away, you didn't have enough like agents in your corner talking.
Would you want Belichick on your staff right now?
dude, no.
Mm,
No.
Right?
I,
Like if you're Oregon, no.
It's such a
Oregon.
Hell
Yeah,
no.
I don't know who
Just
would hire him.
hypothetical. Just saying
Yeah,
as a hypothetical. Like he wants
Like,
to go to
dude,
a playoff.
I just feel, I mean, what does he add beside a circus? Like, is his knowledge of defensive football like so superior that you can add him, into a building and like him not cause problems? Like between the whole wife thing
Yeah,
and
him parading a 26-year-old,
yeah, like
like it's just weird.
that plus like, dude, he's vehemently hates the pipeline of college sports with his recruiting. Like he won't do it. Like he doesn't like talking to 18-year-olds and like trying to sell
just
them on
think
an idea. Like he literally wants to sit in the war room and be like, we're, on 3rd and 5, like we're gonna play Tampa 2 and uh I want to blitz the star more to this game. I want to blitz the star more. Like that's what he likes doing. That's what he likes. So like I don't know.
he thinks he's bigger than college football, in my
Yeah,
opinion. Like he
yeah.
thinks he's too good for it. Also wherever he goes, you want to toot his little clown car with Michael Lombardi in there, which is the. There was a time about last year when people thought the Falcons were idiots for not hiring Belichick, and now I just want to see what the hell these people were talking about. We didn't hire anyone much better, but this is who Bill Belichick is in 2025. It ain't '05 anymore.
I will say the NFL is a little bit different for him, but yeah, I agree. I think, dude, his lack of personality and like I feel like it's become like too much of a problem.
Even in today's just the way that athletes are wired, the
Mm.
modern athlete is wired to have like a more personable coach. Like he is not like it's not
It,
like oh they're soft they can't handle him. It's just that the way that humans are wired now is not meant to take Belichick's coaching style well, in my opinion.
yeah, I mean, yeah, all credible points. I mean, if this is how it ends, like 3 months into the gig, like he's gone. Like that's just, I mean, I will say, remember and we were saying like, I mean, workable schedule. Our first pod, we were like, oh, workable schedule.
Well, everyone was saying that about you.
No, I
That
know,
wasn't even like us.
I know. No, I mean, yeah, we were sheep.
I saw a tweet today. It was like resurfaced after the TC or during the TCU game. And it was from Skip Bayless. Whenever UNC scored on their first drive in like 3 minutes, and it was like beautiful. And he was like, "Wow, Belichick has a national championship caliber offense at North Carolina," and didn't delete it after the game. That's the only like the Gio Lopez went an hour and 30 minutes of like Eastern Standard Time without completing a pass and like just and
Dude,
it's
that is
still
a
up. Like it's probably one of the. It's so Skip Bayless, so
Skip
Skip
Bayless.
Bayless.
He's the worst, dude. He's the worst. Everything that's wrong with the sports media landscape in one
That's
person.
too good.
Oh,
No.
oh,
Oh,
If you're still
oh,
listening to the podcast, please drop your Stanley Cup final champion.
oh,
NHL started
dude. By
last
the
night.
way, how about the Pens last night? 3-0
Dude,
against
We're
Mike
back.
Sullivan and the Rangers. We might be back. We might just be back.
dude,
Oh my
I was
God,
saying
we
this
looked
to my
great.
dad. I said this to my dad, like, we need to appreciate this right now because we are in like the ultimate fan spot right now as the Penguins because like we should just be watching for leisure. If we're good, awesome, like
Awesome, yeah.
great. If
Dude,
we
I loved
suck, perfect. It's fine.
Sam. I had
Like,
so much fun watching the Pens. Like so much fun. It was
dude,
awesome.
that was like I mean, it was game one, but that was a clinic.
Yeah, clinic.
Like,
Dude,
they
clinic.
look well
We look
coached.
wired.
All three zones, like they got the puck
Crosby
out.
looked good.
Dude, Stylovs had to make zero difficult saves. Like Malkin,
Dude, if we
dude,
get that
Brazo,
Malkin, woo,
dude,
Brazo
Brazo
was
was a
good.
beast. He could
He
have had
was
like four
good.
goals.
He was great. He was great. And
Wait till we
hey,
get
dude,
Rust and McCourty back.
yeah, yeah. Raquel doing his
They're
thing.
gonna
Like
lose like 6-0 to the Islanders tomorrow.
true. That kid always happen. But overreaction Wednesday. Like Pens looked way better than I expected.
There's nothing
Way
that
better.
makes me happier than watching the Penguins win 1-0 because it's far and few between.
And Tristan Jari, like that's a good backup to have. Although he's
No, it's not.
why not?
No, trust me, they're gonna cut him in like a couple months. They're gonna let the young kid play in the
Oh, the
minors for a little
AHL
bit,
kid
and
and just get him
yeah,
out
and
of
then
there.
pull him out. Jerry's
Gotcha.
done.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's fine. I mean, the young kid's also good. We felt whatever. These
Yeah,
guys
I
are
mean, we had
riding
eight.
for Sid and Gino
Also,
and
finally, our
Letang.
first, like that first round pick, the kid that we drafted this year played
Who?
the number 18. I forget his name, or 81 maybe. It was his debut. He was 18 years old.
And then we got to get McGroarty back, and we're
Him and Russ or McGrody's back next week. Russ back in 2 weeks.
All right. All right. Sorry, guys.
Carlson, on the other hand, is so bad.
Yeah, well, he hasn't been good. That was a dude. That
He
was
was
such
like
a
trying to pass.
what a
from the
reach. Like
Raiders.
what a reach. Like ah.
I don't mind it. Dude was trying to make a big move.
No, I
Like,
get, I
first
get, I get
NFL.
it. I get it. I mean, it's not like whatever. Sorry for the Penn
New
talk.
Jersey's coming tomorrow too, by the way.
Um, you guys got anything else in the pod before we skedaddle?
Go Phillies.
Also, dude, if you guys should just milk Suarez. This would be huge. for
Dude,
you
Suarez
guys.
is balling. Like he did groove the first pitch, but ever since
Did
then.
you guys? Did you just get out of that inning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Otani.
that what,
Oh,
like 70
Otani
pitches?
almost bombed.
Otani deep scare. Yeah, well,
Literally Otani out in June bombed.
our closer's so good. So we literally just need one
Alvarado?
more. But no, Duran. We
He's
traded for Johan Duran to use on the Twins
Twins
to
guy.
start the
Yeah.
year. He's blown like 3 saves, but like he's so good. Like I have
This would
full
be
confidence
massive.
he'll shut them
The
down.
Sabres
Alvarado,
will-
is he eligible for the postseason because of his
No,
Pens
he's
violation?
ineligible because he got suspended in the
Yeah,
midseason.
that's how
Dude,
profile.
we need like one more run though for me to trust this lead with 6 more outs.
Game
But-
5 in Philly would be pretty sick.
Only if my
Philly's
brother
pretty
doesn't
easy to
go.
win.
Oh! Oh!
Real Muto
Oh! Live
asking you
Live
shall
bomb!
receive.
bomb! Live
I'm
bomb!
behind.
All right, so now we should leave Suarez in and go Suarez Duran.
Santa Maria.
Live
It would
bomb!
really be electric if we could score like 2 more runs and not need to use Duran tonight, so we can use him tomorrow. But let's just win
You
this
guys know
game
that-
first.
You know that one call when the Twins hit or the Indians hit the grand slam. The announcer's
Yeah,
like, "Let's
yeah.
go, Santa Maria."
Dude,
Oh, playoff
JT
baseball is awesome.
Realmuto. That's a bomb on
That's sick.
Kershaw too.
Hirsch. This might be his
No.
last ever pitching performance if the Phillies can come back from down 2-0.
The Cubbies win.
Come on, he might pitch
Yeah,
in game 5.
They won
man.
like 4-3.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope he's serving up BP in Citizens Bank Park.
BP at the
Tigers
bank.
Mariners is going to a game 5.
Yeah, that'll be a great. I think Scooball's going too.
Probably. I think he pitched game 1.
Win. Auto
Yeah, they got
win.
Scooball going. No, he lost.
They lost.
They lost with Scooball.
Schemel.
You'd think they're gonna win though.
Yeah, true.
Gives them a distinct advantage.
I doubt anybody's keeping
Okay.
tabs on Cussa weeknight football, but Middle Tennessee just played for like a 50-something yard field goal against Missouri State, and they shockingly missed, and they lost by 2 because of that.
Playing for a field goal.
Playing for a 50-yard field goal with a freshman kicker that's from Wales.
In the Cussa, dude, why?
Yeah, in a Cussa weeknight game. Like
Might as well
what
throw
are
a
you?
Hail Mary.
Yeah, what are he? It was literally not even on target. So the distance was fine, but it just
He's
wasn't
from
fine.
Wales?
Yeah,
Dude.
yeah.
Good
Shit,
eye,
yeah, shit I got to know before I bet on Middle Tennessee money line.
Real.
Was
Yeah,
that
Charlie, have
shit?
you seen any of the new updates to PPG?
No, I have not.
They added some sweet new food options.
We should
So
go to a
I'm
game.
really-
Are you coming home for Christmas?
Well, how about this? So I was texting my manager today, and
Should we end the recording?
No, that's fine.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
oh, shit.
Just
My